Chapter 475. True Yen Emperor, Tong Nan Emperor and Jade Emperor. Seeing the group of youths arrive on the island, they couldn't help but laugh, simultaneously leaving the virtual universe and vanishing. Mr. Bevan, Wooka shouted, Luo Feng past the third level? The group of human youths looked at the watchman Bevan. The watchman Bevan smiled. Yes, just now. And the fourth level? Savage Rong Jun asked. Immediately the other youths all held their breaths. Luo Feng passing the third level was already something they had to look up to. If he passed the fourth, the group would probably collapse. No matter how big the gap was, it shouldn't be this ridiculous. He didn't succeed. The watchman Bevan said. It's still all right. The group let out a sigh of relief. At least this gave them the courage to chase, however, after which many of them felt helpless. They were all absolute geniuses of the universe, and now they were being forced to the point where they felt like they couldn't catch up. Before coming to Primal Chaos City, the gap between us wasn't that big. Now I haven't even passed the second level, and he's past the third. Jiang Mo gripped his fist. Shrouded in chaos energy, the ancient city that had existed for trillions of years, Primal Chaos City. I'm really not used to long hair. Luo Feng waved his hand. A sharp aura emanated from his palm, swiftly trimming his hair short. After which he jumped down from the balcony and landed in the alley. Luo Feng, you've consecutively passed the second and third levels. Now you've gained 6,000 points, and 2 more chances to study the Primal Chaos Tablet. How are you going to distribute them? Babata's voice resounded in his mind. I've passed the third level, then. I have the right to attend the classes of the warriors in Primal Chaos City. Luo Feng smiled. As for these 6,000 points, I can't use them recklessly, because I'm a newbie, hence I have 10 times the reward after I leave Primal Chaos City. I'm afraid it'll be very hard to get more points. I can only get them according to the methods the Virtual Universe Company requires, hence I have to save them. As for the 2 chances, it's been close to 10 years since I've studied the 9 Universe Tablet. I have many questions within. Today I'll use 1 chance. Luo Feng walked in the alley, very quickly arriving at the main street. The second chance, no rush, I'll think about it in the future. He moved as fast as lightning. Very quickly, he arrived at the entrance of the city leader's residence. The area it took up was huge, and Luo Feng was familiar with it. Very quickly, he arrived at the huge and spacious secret room walkway. Following that walkway, he could see the 2 huge bronze doors. Very quickly he arrived at the 9 Universe door. Lord Candeli. Luo Feng respectfully bowed towards the 3-eyed old man guarding the door. Yes. Kandri smiled and nodded. He then closed his eyes slightly and opened them a moment later. Not bad, you've improved a lot. You now have 2 chances to comprehend it. I'm prepared to use it once. Luo Feng emphasized. You're in luck. There's no one in the secret chamber right now. Candeli smiled and pointed at the huge bronze door behind him. With a rumbling sound, the bronze door slowly opened. The thick chaos energy revolved within, causing the interior to be very blurry. Luo Feng, however, was filled with glee. Thank you, Lord. Whoosh. Luo Feng rushed into the training room. Inside the secret cultivation room, primal chaos energy swirled around a huge primal chaos tablet. Every chance to study it is very precious. Even though there are many people in Primal Chaos City, and occasionally I have to queue up to enter, there are times when it's just me. Luo Feng immediately rushed before the 9 Universe Tablet, his gaze landing on the first picture on the tablet, the raindrop picture. The 9 drops of the raindrop picture were infused with unbelievable power, immediately absorbing Luo Feng's consciousness within. At this time, Luo Feng's 3 bodies were all immersed in the raindrop picture. Every single raindrop within their minds began to form many different concepts. Only the first raindrop, to Luo Feng, it no longer held any mysteries. He had already completely seen through the first raindrop's essence, peeking into its essence. The raindrop picture had a total of 9 concepts. Normal warriors studying the raindrop picture, as long as they understood the concept and were able to unleash it, it would mean they had passed. However, what Luo Feng needed to do wasn't that. He needed to truly see through the essence. Just like a test, there were normal questions and additional questions. Getting the normal questions right would give him 100 points. Getting the normal questions and additional questions all right would give him 150 points. Normal warriors, their comprehension of the raindrop picture's 9 drops would all reach the 100-point level. Right now, Luo Feng's comprehension of the raindrop picture's other 8 drops was around 90 points. Only the first drop had reached 150 points. The raindrop picture's 9 drops, if one's comprehension reached a certain level, one would normally be able to pass the first 3 levels. Luo Feng's 8 drops were close to passing. 1 drop could be considered perfect. What I need to do now isn't to rush and study the drizzle picture, but to train the raindrop picture's 9 drops to a perfect level. Luo Feng was very clear on what he needed to do. His consciousness under the 9 universe tablets' guidance, Luo Feng's comprehension of the raindrop picture continued to surface. As he comprehended it, he couldn't help but smile. "Come out." A voice resounded in his mind. "Come out. Come out. Come out. Come out." The voice wasn't loud at first, but within his mind it reverberated and stacked, getting louder and louder, causing Luo Feng to wake up from that mysterious state. He could only grit his teeth and fly out regretfully. What a pity, it's time again. Outside the training room, there were already 3 people waiting. "It's a pity. It would be good if I could stay longer." Luo Feng walked on the streets outside the city leader's residence, feeling unsatisfied within. The feeling of studying the 9 universe tablet was simply too wonderful. Different from the usual times when he would wake up from fatigue, he didn't feel any fatigue in front of the 9 universe tablet at all. He didn't even have to actively study it. As long as he was guided in by the 9 universe tablet, he would be able to comprehend a lot. Right now, the other 8 concepts of the raindrop picture I should be able to pass. Luo Feng thought, if it was 90 points before, now all 8 should be 100 points. However, my target is to get 150 points for all 9. Luo Feng smiled. The higher he went, the harder it got. The additional questions of the exam were much harder than the normal questions. The same logic, understanding the essence and just using it, the difference in difficulty was huge. Breathe in. Luo Feng looked up at the sky. He hadn't felt so relaxed in a long time. Looking at the distant sky, the many space crevices, the crystal threads, the complicated large amounts of engravings intertwined and revolved, the universe was a huge being. Its own revolving laws were revealed to Luo Feng and the others. However, even after it was revealed, comprehending it would still take a very long time. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. Finally, I'm finally going to break through? Luo Feng became a blur and rushed back to his own resting room, not far from the city leader's residence. Luo Feng's internal world. On the vast metal continent, the golden-horned beast that was like a black mountain range and the Masha clansman black-clothed Luo Feng were both looking at the sky with glee. I'm finally going to break through. I'm finally going to break through to the Domain Lord level. From Universe Level 9 to Domain Lord, a normal evolution would take about 500 years. Sometimes it would take 100 years more, sometimes it would take 100 years less. It wasn't an absolute number. And Luo Feng relied on the most optimal metal combination to quickly push the internal world to expand, hence the efficiency was raised by 56 times. In theory, Luo Feng should have broken through when he entered Primal Chaos City for 7 to 8 years. However, he was a whole 3 years late. Firstly, the evolution did indeed take up more time. Secondly, it was Luo Feng's fault. As Luo Feng had been training hard these past 10 years, the 3 bodies would often study at once. The next time they would wake up, it would be 1 to 2 months or even 3 to 4 months. The internal world needed to swallow metal. It was like eating. It had to be eaten frequently. For example, if a normal person starved for 3 days, they wouldn't be able to eat 3 days' worth of food in one go. One theory. The internal world could normally swallow at most once, and it could last for about 1 to 2 months. However, if Luo Feng used 3 to 4 months to study at once, then he would wake up and let the internal world swallow the metal. It would at most last for 1 to 2 months. This would cause the evolution speed to slow down. Luo Feng's origin law study was extremely important, and Babata didn't dare disturb him at such a crucial time. Naturally this happened. And whether it was Luo Feng or Babata, they were both very clear. These 30 years in Primal Chaos City were extremely important. They had to give it their all. As for the golden horned beast's evolution being delayed by 2 to 3 years, that was a small matter. Studying the origin laws was a huge matter. Rumble, countless amounts of golden mist entered the continent. The metal continent constantly expanded. Large amounts of land plates were formed. The entire continent took a long time to completely form. Everything went silent. The internal world's evolution was a success. From the 9,000 kilometers length and width before, it immediately grew to 100,000 kilometers. The core within Luo Feng's body. Within the core, the Whirlpool Galaxy was beautiful and resplendent, and the core of the Whirlpool Galaxy was that huge black hole. On the 8 spiral arms were 8 small black holes too. When the internal world's evolution was complete, immediately the Whirlpool Galaxy began to undergo a shocking change. Rumble, the center black hole, the spiral arms and the 8 black holes swallowing power rose fiercely. The surrounding stars were madly swallowed, especially the center black hole that constantly grew bigger and bigger. Gradually, even the 8 small black holes beside were affected by the gravitational pull and drew closer. Swallowing. The center black hole swallowed everything it could, growing bigger and bigger. Gradually, the 8 small black holes were all swallowed in. After a while, the Whirlpool Galaxy completely disappeared, leaving only the huge black hole. Rumble, the gigantic black hole suddenly began to collapse inward, and the entire black area within the original core began to shrink at a speed visible to the naked eye. This sort of collapse of a black hole was simply terrifying. In the blink of an eye, the entire black hole collapsed and disappeared. At the same time, a gray sphere appeared in the center of the original black hole. Chi. The gray ball, almost like a snake shedding its skin, a layer of gray outer shell immediately fell off. This round gray outer shell actually constantly expanded, bigger and bigger. The gray outer shell continued to grow, until it was the same size as the entire core, after which this gray outer shell actually silently and completely merged with the core, causing Luo Feng's core, the core, to undergo a special change. As the core changed, the 2 great bodies within the internal world, the golden horned beast and Masha clansman, simultaneously began to evolve. Chapter 476. Like a black mountain range, the golden horned beast slowly extended its scaled wings. At the same time, its entire body began to undergo a shocking change. Large amounts of golden mist descended from the skies of the continent, enveloping the golden horned beast's scales, constantly being absorbed. The black scales could be seen to the naked eye slowly growing larger. Its bones were thickening and growing longer, becoming denser. Its claws became thicker and sharper. Almost like an armor covering its entire body, the golden engravings grew along with the golden horned beast's body. Not just its outer appearance, the changes within the golden horned beast were even more shocking. Every single cell and bone had undergone a heaven-shattering change. Its innate structure had undergone a metamorphosis. Universe level to domain lord, that was a leap in the body's fitness level. Howl! The golden horned beast raised its head, letting out a carefree howl. Not far away, on the surface of an incredibly complex golden engravings, a black life crystal was revolving. This was the true form of the Masha clansman. The Masha clansman's main form was this life crystal. the energy produced by the life crystal allowed it to transform into anything it wanted. Hence, the evolution of the Masha clansman was actually the evolution of the life crystal. Different life forms, different evolutions. Flesh and blood life forms mainly evolved the body and soul at the same time. And energy life forms were the evolution of the life crystal, and the core of the Masha clansman was the life crystal. As it trained, the life crystal would absorb energy and gradually change its body. Just like the evolution of the human body, the life crystal would become more and more indestructible. However, the Masha clansman's evolution also had a bottleneck. It required willpower, life crystal, genetic energy, and many other aspects to break through. However, Luo Feng's Masha clansman was different from normal Masha clansman. Because the core of the Masha clansman wasn't the life crystal, even if it was destroyed, it could be regenerated. Luo Feng's three bodies weren't important, his core was the core. As long as the core wasn't destroyed, he wouldn't die. The moment it was destroyed, all three bodies would die. Right now the core's soul had already broken through to Domain Lord Level 1. Hence, the three clones could all train to Domain Lord Level 1. The only troublesome thing was the body's limitations. Earth's body evolution was slow, but the life crystals had an unlimited supply of energy. The golden horned beast's evolution was the fastest of them all. Ding! Several hours later, the spinning black life crystal let out a faint sound. The life crystal core had shrunk by one size. Hoo-hoo! Large amounts of black energy flowed out of the life crystal and formed a person, the black-clothed Luo Feng. Primal Chaos City, Luo Feng's resting room. Domain Lord. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. No wonder there aren't any Domain Lords among the slaves sold. When a universe level stepped into the Domain Lord level, the galaxy would be completely swallowed by the black hole, and the huge black hole would collapse to form a singularity, which was the gray ball that appeared in Luo Feng's core earlier. At this point, he would be considered to have stepped into the Domain Lord level. Although the oddity was extremely small, it was extremely heavy. By right, as an extremely small point that swallowed countless galaxies to form, within it, it would gradually nurture a world. This nurturing process would go from Domain Lord Level 1 to Domain Lord Level 9. When the nurturing process was complete, there would be a fundamental change, and the nurtured world would become a true world. At that time, it would be a sector lord. A sector lord's body would truly form a world. With a wave of his hand, he would be able to use the world energy. And the sector lord's world would allow humans to live in and store things, etc. It would be similar to a real world. The golden horned beast's internal world had been there since the golden horned beast was a cub. However, any life forms or items that entered would be digested. If too much was placed in and it couldn't be digested, the entire space would explode. The golden horned beast's internal world would constantly grow. Only when it became a sector lord would the golden horned beast's internal world have a fundamental change. Only then would it allow humans and items to be placed in. Right now, it would only allow Luo Feng's own body to enter. The golden horned beast's talent is heaven-defying. Its inherited memories are even more shocking. Its lifespan is 10 times that of a human sector lord. However, for generations of golden horned beasts to become undying, it's extremely difficult. Most of them are sector lord pinnacle even when they die. Luo Feng understood one reason when the core evolved to Domain Lord. One had to know. Sector lords, to become undying, one had to break the shackles of the internal world and merge with the space shards in the universe, forming a truly stable and powerful space, the God Country. Breaking the shackles. This was the shackle, the singularity. The singularity would grow stronger and stronger as one's strength grew. Hence, breaking it was extremely difficult. However, for the golden horned beast, it was 10 to 100 times harder than a human. Because the golden horned beast was born with a singularity, the core. The moment the golden horned beast was born, the core would form an internal world. Hence, when Luo Feng became a domain lord, the internal galaxy became a black hole and collapsed into a singularity. This singularity began to shed its shell and merge into the core. As time passed, the two would completely merge as one. Because they were originally the same. After merging, the core would be even more sturdy, much sturdier than a normal human's singularity. The Domain Lord Level 1 Golden Horned Beast's internal space is already 100,000 kilometers long. Luo Feng exclaimed, "When it reaches Sector Lord, what will it be like?" The bigger the internal space, it was a good thing. However, it also meant that the core that held the internal space was even sturdier. When Luo Feng reached Sector Lord Level 9, facing the unshakable core, he would know how helpless the previous generations of golden horned beasts were. Breaking the shackles, merging the internal world with the external space to form the God Country, that's only the last requirement to become undying. There are many other requirements ahead. Luo Feng shook his head. Becoming undying, I'm only a domain lord right now, I'm still far from that. I'll slowly train. The creator of floating blood, Lien Luo, didn't even take 100,000 years to become undying, and was even given the title of official. Don't tell me, I have 10 times the lifespan of a human sector lord and still can't become undying? Thinking about it, Luo Feng laughed. Life, there was only one core, one internal world. Luo Feng's 3 bodies shared one core, shared one internal world. One for all, one for all. Master, someone has come to visit. An electronic voice resounded within the training quarters. HM. Luo Feng stood up and walked out of the resting room, heading to the living room to open the door. Outside stood a tall lady dressed in a black robe, her eyes purple. Black-robed emissary? Luo Feng thought. Luo Feng, congratulations on passing the 3rd level of the Heavenly Bridge. The black-robed lady smiled. In our primal chaos city, as long as one passes the 3rd level, it means that one's comprehension of the primal chaos tablet is considered to have crossed the threshold, and one has the right to listen to the Absolute Warrior's lectures. This is information on the 18 founders of our primal chaos city's 9 universe sect. You can go listen to any one of them. Saying that, she handed over a finger-thick black cover book. Thank you. Luo Feng received it. Let me remind you, even though you can listen to any one of them, it's your first time listening. Who you choose is very important. The black-robed lady emphasized. I believe the details are in the book, I won't say much. Luo Feng nodded. After which, he watched as the city leader left. Listening to the lecture? There was no rush now, after all he had bitterly studied for 10 years, breaking through 2 levels in one go, plus he had just broken through to the Domain Lord level, such a joyous moment. Luo Feng really wanted to share it with his family, his eyes filled with anticipation. It's been a while since I've seen my family, it's time to spend some time with them. Virtual Universe Network, Ganwu Continent. Ganwu Continent's Dream Card City was an extremely large city, 10 times larger than the Black Dragon Mountain Island. Ping Hai Company was one of the larger scale companies in Dream Card City, able to rank within the top 100. Ping Hai Company's office building, 86th level, meeting room. How do you do? It's a pleasure to meet you, Mrs. Luo. It's my pleasure too, to meet the Virtual Universe Company's Ganwu Continent Bo Te Lai. Dressed in a red tang dress, Su Xian was shaking hands with a tall man with a sharp nose. On both sides of the meeting table sat the upper echelons of both parties. Accurately speaking, it's Bo Te Lai's vice director. The sharp-nosed man smiled. Haha, I believe Mrs. Luo won't have any pressure during this meeting. Your husband is a core member of the upper echelon of the Virtual Universe Company, your Ping Hai Company becoming one of our subsidiaries. It'll be very beneficial for you. Su Xian smiled. My husband, even though he's a major shareholder of the company, everything is up to me. If Mrs. Luo has any thoughts, feel free to speak. Bo Te Lai smiled. Everyone speak freely, everything will be easier to discuss. Firstly, this company has to be controlled by me. Su Xian emphasized. Mrs. Luo. Bo Te Lai smiled. You should know, our virtual universe company buys many companies with potential. We have to form a controlling stake in your company. At the very least, 51% of the shares must be held. I understand, I'm only saying, the company has to be managed by me. You can't interfere with the company's operations, you can only share the profits, etc. Su Xian said. Bo Te Lai nodded. Continue. I believe you know that too. Su Xian smiled. Our Ping Hai company has 3 main businesses. The main business is restaurant chain management and financial investments. The third is real estate. Just my brother Luo Hua alone, the universe first bank once sent people to poach him. You should know how profitable this is. Ping Hai company's financial investments, I'm very clear. Bo Te Lai smiled. This is also the reason why we're giving you 6 times your net worth. No, I need 12 times. Su Xian looked at Bo Te Lai. I believe Mr. Bo Te Lai should understand that our Ping Hai company's restaurant chain cannot be replicated. 12 times, definitely not. Bo Te Lai shook his head. Mr. Bo Te Lai. Su Xian was about to continue. HM? She suddenly lowered her head to look at her wrist. The small screen displayed a message. She couldn't help but reveal an excited smile. You finally know to go home. As promised, 3 chapters completed, requesting monthly and recommendation votes. Monthly 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 votes. I'll just vote for tomato. Chapter 477. After a while, the upper echelon of the Ping Hai company passionately sent the group of people from the Ganwu Continent Investment Department away. Mrs. Luo's intentions, I'm very clear. Bo Te Lai smiled. But 12 times is definitely impossible. Madame Luo, please be prepared. As for the report you gave me, I'll definitely let the director personally look through it. Thank you. Su Xian smiled too. After which Bo Te Lai headed out. Following behind him were a few underlings. Outside the company, there was a streamlined and flat-shaped ship parked. The ship's cabin door had 8 horned men dressed in battle gear standing respectfully. Bo Te Lai brought his underlings and boarded the ship, following which the bodyguards entered too. The cabin door closed and they quickly flew away. Big Sister Su, our restaurant's ingredients purchase. The short-haired lady beside Su Xian shouted. I still have things to do, you settle the company's general matters. Su Xian ordered. Yes. The short-haired lady replied. Su Xian waved her hand towards the sky. Suddenly, a carriage pulled by a heavenly horse with wings descended from the sky. Su Xian jumped on and said, To the teleportation point. Go. The driver shook the reins and the horse immediately soared into the sky. Virtual Universe, Black Dragon Mountain Island 9-Star Bay District. Dad, right now the eastern half of the 9-Star Bay District belongs to us. We've hired the best architects on Earth. Borrowing from the many buildings in the universe, it's just been built. A man with a gentle smile on his face, seemingly very handsome, pointed at the surrounding buildings that looked like a celestial palace. Not bad. Luo Feng nodded. Luo Ping, your mom isn't back yet? Luo Feng asked. I've already informed her, it's just that her company headquarters is in the Ganwu continent. She has to go there every day, and you rarely come back, hence she decided to go online at the company. Luo Ping said. Under normal circumstances, if one had property in the virtual universe, they could go online at the company. And Su Xian had set her address at the company. Set it at the company? Luo Feng was a little ashamed. He had only returned once in a while. Dad. Luo Hua pointed at the distant luxurious mansions. Because you're staying here, the 9-Star Bay District's prices have soared. Some of the original residents here had almost all sold their land to people with status. Those big shots also want to get close to you, Dad. After all, Dad, you are considered to be someone with status in our Black Dragon Mountain starfield. Oh! Luo Feng laughed in shock. That was right. The members of the Virtual Universe Headquarters Absolute Beginning Region, the leader of the guard team, were all sector lords recognized by the laws. In terms of position, Luo Feng was even higher than the Black Dragon Mountain Empire's emperor. Even the Undying behind the Black Dragon Mountain Empire had to give Luo Feng face. A small star region was just a small corner in the vast universe. It wasn't strange for a group of powerful people to want to live close to Luo Feng. Mr. Luo Ping. Far away, a bald fatty with a 3-meter-tall furry pet was strolling leisurely with 2 servants following him. When he saw Luo Ping, he called out enthusiastically. Baxter, Luo Ping called out with a smile. This bald fatty had a scale-like scalp on his head, after which he looked shocked at Luo Feng. Mr. Luo Ping, this is my father, Luo Ping smiled. Ah, Lord Luo Feng. The bald fatty bowed respectfully, bending his body close to his stomach, after which he looked up and said excitedly, Lord Luo Feng, it's an honor to meet you. I just moved here 8 years ago. I've always worshipped Lord Luo Feng. I didn't expect to meet you today. It's really an honor for me, Baxter. Luo Feng smiled. How do you do, Baxter? This Baxter was immediately flushed red with excitement. Dad, Mom is back. Luo Ping pointed in mid-air. Su Xian? Luo Feng turned to look. In mid-air, Su Xian sat in the carriage pulled by the horses, slowly descending. Su Xian. Luo Feng ran over. Su Xian lowered her head and looked at Luo Feng, her eyes filled with tears. When the carriage was about to descend, she immediately leapt off and landed on the ground. You still know to return. Su Xian stared at Luo Feng. Ah! Luo Feng was ashamed. How long has it been? How long has it been since I've returned? Su Xian stared at him. Luo Feng was embarrassed to reply. 10 years. You haven't returned for over 10 years. Su Xian couldn't help but feel a sense of anger. I know you have to study in Primal Chaos City, but you can't occasionally come back to see the children, me and your parents? Sorry. Luo Feng said softly. Right. 10 years. The last time he studied in Primal Chaos City was 3 years and 9 months, and the Primal Universe had a slower time flow, 3 years and 9 months there. Over 10 years had passed in the actual universe, and the virtual universe's time flow was the same as the actual universe. 10 years. Su Xian stared at Luo Feng. All right. Luo Feng gently extended his arms and hugged Su Xian. I promise, I'll try my best to come back every year, unless something special happens. Su Xian nodded. She only wanted to remind Luo Feng, because in the past 30 years, whether it was Earth or the Luo family, there had been shocking changes. For example, the Earth people had a lot of status in the Milky Way galaxy. The Luo family's power was getting stronger and stronger. Everyone was very clear, this was all because of Luo Feng. Luo Feng was one of the 5 Leviathans of humanity, the Virtual Universe Company's core member. Let's go home. Luo Feng said. Let's go home. Su Xian nodded. The family of 3 immediately walked back. Su Xian glanced at the distant fatty, saying softly, that fatty is called Baxen. He has over 30,000 life planets as his territory. He controls trillions of human slaves. He's a large slave supplier. On the surface he looks sincere and foolish, in truth he's vicious and merciless. Ah? Luo Feng looked shocked. That was a fatty? With over 30,000 life planets as his territory? Wasn't that even stronger than the Newland Shan family from back then? At our doorstep, he naturally has to be low profile, he has to please us. Su Xian's eyes gleamed with disdain. Luo Ping, don't interact with such people in the future. Right, your mother is right. Luo Feng nodded. Different statuses, different horizons. Back then, when he was still a small figure on Earth, the Newland Shan family was a huge being. Baxen, a large slave supplier, was even more terrifying. However now, the leader of Luo Feng's guard team was a sector lord, with one order: he could wipe out a small family like this in the starfield. Dad, Mom, we have to get to know people from all walks of life. Luo Ping smiled. You and your brother are really different. Luo Feng couldn't help but exclaim. 30. 30. A loud voice resounded from not too far away. Its second brother? Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. It had been 10 years since the last time he returned to 9-Star Bay. Returning home this time, Luo Feng realized his family was already considered a large family. Even his grandchildren had their own families. Right now many of the Luo family's matters in the Milky Way galaxy were mainly controlled by Su Xian and his eldest son Luo Ping. As for his youngest son Luo Hai, he was a complete training madman, pursuing the limits of the human body, becoming an absolute warrior in the universe. What was it for? 1 was his own dreams, 2 was for his family and home. Times Luo Feng stayed in 9-Star Bay for 3 days, after which his consciousness returned to Primal Chaos City. The only thing that disappointed him was he didn't get to see Hong. From what Thunder God said, Hong seemed to be undergoing very important training, blocking all emails and calls. He couldn't be contacted at all. Ping High Company, Level 89. Su Xian stood before the French window, gazing down at the beautiful and vast city. Knock, knock, knock. A knocking sound resounded. Enter. Su Xian shouted. A slim and graceful short-haired lady dressed in work clothes walked in, smiling. Big Sister Su, how have you been these 3 days? Su Xian immediately smiled. Big Sister Su, this is the document from Bo Te Lai. The short-haired lady handed it over. Su Xian accepted. The Virtual Universe Company was split into the business department and the military department. Of course, the upper echelon of the business department and the military department belonged to the core. The upper echelon of the core was the true ruling class. Business was a very important part of the Virtual Universe Company. However, in this Virtual Universe world, even the Virtual Universe Company didn't manage all the businesses themselves, because they were very clear: if they forcefully controlled all the businesses, it would greatly restrict their economic capabilities, and would also restrict the large amounts of funds flowing into the real world. Creating a fair and free environment, only then would many superpowers in the real world be willing to throw in money. Otherwise it would be unfair, monopolizing everything, those tycoons, powers who would throw in money. Hence, in the virtual universe there were all sorts of companies, competing etc., and a few companies with high potential would usually be bought over by many large powers. Big Sister Su, the Universe First Bank is also willing to buy our company, and the conditions they gave are very good too. Why did you immediately reject them? The short-haired lady said. We don't have to worry about development funds. Su Xian lowered her head and flipped through the documents in her hands. Since that's the case, why are you willing to negotiate with the Virtual Universe Company? The short-haired lady asked curiously. Su Xian was shocked. I'm very curious. The short-haired lady said sincerely. Big Sister Su, I've followed you for close to 40 years, we've developed step by step. Even following our Chinese culture, we've created a chain restaurant. Many of our staff were trained on Earth. We've tried our best to set up barriers, making it impossible for the outside world to imitate us. Our Ping Hai restaurant brand has long been established. And with large amounts of funds, with Mr. Luo Hua in charge of the investment department, the cash we earn, Mr. Luo Hua gets a second boost. This way of earning money is extremely fast. Our assets are exceptional. Plus the Ganwu Universe country. Due to Lord Luo Feng's relationship, they've given us protection and support. Our development definitely won't be a problem. There's no need to give shares to others. Right. Su Xian nodded. Entering the virtual universe and working hard for close to 40 years, this business was like another child to her. How could she bear to give it to others? However, it's different. Su Xian said softly. The Virtual Universe Company and the Universe First Bank are different. How different? The short-haired lady asked curiously. Because my husband too is from the Virtual Universe Company. Su Xian turned through the glass, looking at the sky outside. Luo Feng, he's very exceptional and powerful. On Earth he was like that, the most exceptional. However, because of that, he's gotten further and further away from me. Like this time, he hasn't returned for a whole 10 years. The short-haired lady opened her mouth, but didn't say a word. Luo Feng was the pride of Earth. However, to Luo Feng's family, he had indeed neglected them. I don't blame him. Chapter 478. Humanity's Sacred Training Land, Primal Chaos City, an unremarkable training residence, within a resting room. Luo Feng sat in a chair, his head lowered as he looked at the book the black-robed messenger had given him. The book had these words: to be able to pass the 18th level of the Heavenly Bridge, they are the true elites of humanity, they are the leaders amongst the Undyings, they can immediately obtain the rights to be a permanent resident of Primal Chaos City, and they can also open their own schools within Primal Chaos City to accept disciples and teach. They are highly respected. And the warriors that come to Primal Chaos City, as long as they pass the 3rd level of the Heavenly Bridge, they will be able to attend the classes. You can attend any of the teachers' classes. However, if you want to become a disciple of a particular teacher, then the first time you attend a class, you have to choose to attend the teacher's class to show respect, after which you will request to take him as your teacher. If you receive the teacher's approval, then you'll have succeeded. Remember, unless you don't want to take him as your teacher, otherwise if you want to take him as your teacher, you have to attend his first class. This is a form of respect. After reading this, Luo Feng finally understood why the black-robed messenger said the first class was very important. Take him as a teacher? Luo Feng frowned. Taking him as a teacher is good, Luo Feng, to be able to teach in Primal Chaos City. They are all the leaders amongst the Undyings, they are all emperors. Babata shouted excitedly, when you're still weak, to have an absolute warrior to teach you, it's such an important thing. For example, if True Yen Emperor didn't remind you before learning Floating Blood, you'd probably end up like a normal warrior. I already have a teacher. Luo Feng felt a little uneasy within. No problem. Babata didn't care. The strong of the universe have extremely long lifespans. They might find a teacher at the Star Traveler level, another at the Universe level, and another at the Sector Lord level. Different levels of strength, different horizons, the teachers they need are different too. It's normal for a strong warrior to have tens of teachers. Luo Feng nodded. It was like that in the universe. To be able to rank in the top 1,000 of the universe genius battles, how many of them didn't have a teacher? However, if these geniuses knew that the universe country leaders wanted to take them as disciples, they would definitely be very excited. Back then, when Rong Jun became a disciple of the Yuan Chen universe country leader, it made many jealous. Who should I choose? Luo Feng looked at the information of the 18 leaders of the 9 universe sect. These were all masters among undying beings. They were much stronger than his previous teacher, the Yun Mo Planet Master. The Yun Mo Planet Master could barely become a marquis, and these masters were all considered very strong even amongst emperors. Many of their disciples were undying. Choose who? Choose who? Luo Feng muttered, very quickly finishing reading the information of the 18 leaders. Within Primal Chaos City, the 9 Universe sect has a total of 18 sect leaders. Of these 18 leaders, 4 of them belong to the Virtual Universe Company. They are Flame Dragon Emperor, True Yen Emperor, Thousand Illusion Emperor and Blade Emperor. They all sound terrifying. Flame Dragon King? I've seen him fight before. Babata shouted excitedly. Back then when your teacher and I entered a universe secret region, we experienced many dangers and entered a planet covered in ice currents. I saw it with my own eyes, in that ice currents, the flame dragon king directly transformed into a star, enveloping tens of undyings within, burning them to ashes. They couldn't be more dead. Become a star? Luo Feng was stunned. Even more terrifying than a true star. Undyings, destroying a star is too easy. However, the star that the Flame Dragon King transformed into, in terms of temperature, it's much higher than a true star. One move and it killed tens of undyings, 2 of which were human undyings, along with automaton and other races. The Flame Dragon King is a very, very terrifying being. Ah! Luo Feng held his breath. Even the bastard who killed your teacher back then couldn't even take one move from him. I didn't expect him to be teaching in Primal Chaos City now. Babata exclaimed. Flame Dragon, Thousand Illusion, Blade Emperor, True Yen. Luo Feng looked at the information of the 4, his eyes filled with desire. The warriors of Primal Chaos City were mostly split into 5 big factions. Virtual Universe Company, Battleaxe Dojo, Universe First Bank, Universe Galaxy Bank and Universe Mercenary Alliance. Only a few of them were lone warriors with no background or power. Within a mansion. Haha, Blade Emperor, don't be too confident. The ape-man True Yen laughed loudly. Why don't you take a look? A man dressed in purple armor and carrying a golden blade on his back laughed loudly. You 3, one is an ape-man, one a dragon man and the last one is always gloomy. Only me, only I, Blade Emperor, look the most similar to the people of Earth. If he doesn't choose me, who would he choose? Blade Emperor, accepting a master doesn't depend on looks. With 2 dragon horns, his face was covered in red dragon scales. His eyes made one feel as though they were 2 miniature stars. Flame Dragon, in terms of strength, I'm not weaker than you. Blade Emperor laughed loudly. Blade Emperor is too arrogant, from what I see, he's miscalculated this time. A black-robed man that looked almost illusory sat there. However, this Luo Feng, he's indeed a rare seedling of our 9-universe sect in over 100 million years, actually comprehending the floating blood first blade form in 10 years. His talent is very powerful, very powerful. Hence, he has to accept me as his master. I'm a sword user. Blade Emperor laughed. The 4 of them. They were all from the 9-universe sect, and they were all members of the Virtual Universe Company. Moreover, they were all undying masters, they all taught in Primal Chaos City, hence their relationship was very good. Every once in a while, the 4 of them would gather together to discuss the Tao and even spar with each other. As for Luo Feng, this was an unexpected surprise for the 9-universe sect. Every batch of geniuses had their most dazzling ones, like this Bolin. He was the most exceptional in 10 million years. Luo Feng didn't attract much attention from the 4 at the start, however he fiercely broke through the 2nd and 3rd levels. Obviously he only used 10 years to comprehend the floating blood first blade form. This talent, others didn't know, but the 4 of them who studied the 9-universe tablet were very clear. Terrifying. Extremely terrifying. To be able to learn from Lien Luo back then, studying the essence of the universe space, one had to have absolute talent, mental state and comprehension. If one couldn't comprehend the first blade form within 20 years, it meant there was no hope. However, Luo Feng did it within 10 years. Bolin's main problem is that he had too much of a lead at the start. If we don't count the initial lead, in terms of improvement speed, this Luo Feng doesn't lose out to Bolin at all. The black-robed man's solemn voice resounded, praising, maybe in over 100 million years, there are a few that can match up to Luo Feng, but they might not choose our 9-universe sect. Our 9-universe sect, an absolute genius that only appears once in 100 million years. Flame Dragon Emperor exclaimed. How can we not nurture such a genius? The 4 all admired Luo Feng, such a rare elite disciple. It was normal for them to like him, because such an absolute genius, if he didn't fall, he would have a high chance of becoming an official or even emperor. To be able to nurture an emperor disciple, their own position would be very high too. The teacher and disciple relationship was a very strong one. Blade, it's useless to be happy now, just wait and see, when the time comes, who he chooses as his teacher. Tru Yen rubbed the golden fur on his chin, laughing. Then we'll wait and see. Blade Emperor said confidently. Beside, Flame Dragon Emperor and Thousand Illusion Emperor smiled as they watched. A few days later, Virtual Universe, a special plane. A tall and majestic temple floated in the clouds, and Tru Yen directly appeared in the square in front of the temple. There were many guards standing in the square, and each guard was tall and short, but they all had one thing in common, and that was Ape-man. Whether it was a black-haired ape-man, golden-haired ape-man or a long-armed ape-man, the color of their fur, height and body shape may be different, but they were all ape-men. Humph! Tru Yan's expression was gloomy. He took big steps towards the shrine door. Leader! Leader! The guards all bowed respectfully. Tru Yen rushed straight into the shrine. On the thrones, there were already 16 ape-men seated. These 16 saw Tru Yen rush in. Their expressions changed. What's going on? Tru Yen rushed into the shrine, his golden eyes gazing at the other 16. He roared, "Why does my Kahan clan only have one spot in the Great Alliance's name list? Tru Yen, you don't have to care about anything in Primal Chaos City. This was a decision made by the other leaders after discussion." One of the 12-meter-tall black-haired ape-man's voice rumbled, resounding throughout the entire shrine. Bullshit! Tru Yen pointed at the huge ape-man in front of him and roared, "Our sacred ape-man shrine has 18 leaders. Now that the sacred leader doesn't care, everything is decided by us 18 leaders. I'm also one of the leaders. Usually I'm too lazy to care, but no matter what, don't go overboard. Your King Kong race has 4 spots, my Kahan clan only has 1? Tru Yen!" The black-robed ape-man roared. "Shut up!" Tru Yan's gaze swept across everyone. "I'm usually too lazy to care about such things, but don't treat me like an idiot. If you're really unhappy, I don't mind fighting in real life. I'll seal you all." The other 15 leaders were speechless, not daring to make a sound. Tru Yen was indeed an absolute warrior just below the sacred leader. He was the closest to the knight level, and usually didn't interfere with the ape-man race's matters. In short, I don't want to bully you, but don't take me for a fool. Tru Yen glanced at the group of people around. If there's such a thing again, I won't be arguing with you in the virtual universe, but directly at your residences. Humph. With that, Tru Yen turned around and left. Ape-man, a large proportion of the universe's human race, they could be seen everywhere. The ape-man race was also divided into tens of thousands of races. The ape-man race's sacred palace was the highest level of the ape-man race. This Zhen Yen, he even cares about this. Isn't he in Primal Chaos City training to become a knight? A skinny ape-man leader with a pair of fiery red eyes said solemnly. Seems like Zhen Yen is still paying attention to his Kahan clan. The hall masters were helpless. P.S. Chapter 1. Chapter 479. Virtual Universe Ganwu Continent, Ping High Company 86th Floor Meeting Room. One side was the upper echelon of the Ping High Company, the other was the upper echelon of the Virtual Universe Company's investment department in the Ganwu Continent. Su Xian and Bo Te Lai handed over the documents and signed their names on them. Happy cooperation! Happy cooperation! Su Xian stood up with a smile, raising her glass. After signing the contract, it is the habit of us Earthlings to toast and celebrate. Mr. Bo Te, you should also try our Ping High Company's latest tea beverage. Bo Te Lai took it with a smile. A toast to celebrate? It's novel. The subordinates of both sides also raised their wine cups and toasted together. It's really not bad. This bitter taste circulating in the mouth is really wondrous. Bo Te Lai nodded. I like the name tea. Bo Te Lai awkwardly said the pronunciation of the Chinese character tea. Su Xian smiled. I like it too because it can bring a lot of profit. Yes, that's right. Bo Te Lai was beaming with joy. With the technology of the universe, it wasn't hard to research some of Earth's food culture, but in the virtual universe it was protected by patent. Back then, Suxin used the fastest speed to register many special things from Earth's culture in the virtual universe network. Even if other companies were to discover some mysteries, they wouldn't be able to plagiarize it, otherwise they would have to pay a huge sum of patent fees. In the future, I'll leave this Ping Hai company to you, Madame Luo. Bo Te Lai said, otherwise, I'll have to take responsibility for any failed acquisition. Don't worry. Suxin smiled. Haha, Ping Hai company has such excellent management. Of course I'm not worried. Bo Te Lai smiled. Then let's look forward to Ping Hai company becoming a second-tier subsidiary company as soon as possible, preferably within 1,000 years. My goal is to achieve it within 100 years. Suxin smiled. Boat's eyes brightened. Right, within 100 years. The sooner the better. Mr. Botley, please take a rest, we have already prepared a celebratory feast. Suxin smiled, after which she arranged for people to bring the upper echelon of the Ganwu department to rest. Only Suxin and the short-haired woman were left in the conference room. Big Sister Su, we succeeded, the short-haired woman said excitedly. Let it obtain 51% of the shares at 2 times the price. Not bad, right? Suxin smiled. Including this large investment, our Ping Hai company's total net assets have reached 32,882 mixed elements. When Luo Feng received the reward of 1,000 mixed elements, he gave 300 of them to his brother Luo Hua to operate and 200 of them to Suxin. But later, as for Suxin's company, it would be too inefficient to deposit a large amount of profits in the bank. It would be better to let Luo Hua invest in the financial sector. Therefore, Luo Hua also invested in Ping Hai Corporation and became a very important department of Ping Hai Corporation, the financial investment department. At that time, this was how the shares were distributed. Luo Feng had 50% of the shares, Luo Hua had 25%, and Suxin had 25%. Back then, Ping Hai Company's total assets reached close to 600 mixed element. Luo Feng had been in Primal Chaos City for 10 years, however in the actual universe over 30 years had passed. Over the past 30 years, Suxin had been in charge of the entire company, while Luo Hua had been in charge of financial investments. Over the past 30 years, their assets had increased from nearly 600 mixed element units to nearly 3,000 mixed element unit. It seemed like a small increase, just a few times. If it was on Earth, this efficiency would be way too low, not even worth mentioning. However, in truth, this was already considered extremely high in the universe, because the larger the investment, the harder it was to make money. Large investments easily attracted the attention of many financial giants. If one wasn't careful, it was normal to lose out. To earn over 5 times the profits in 30 years? Difficult. Many undyings, with their trillions of years of life, to even double their investments was extremely difficult. As the virtual universe had many ancient beings, with their trillions of years of life, along with the virtual universe system's adjustments, it made it so that the currency didn't expand at all. Assuming that one mixed element unit from 100 million years ago, after 100 million years, its purchasing power wouldn't change much. This led to it was very, very difficult to make money from a large financial investment. Even Ping Hai Corporation relied on the rapid expansion of the restaurant chain and financial investments to get to this stage. The shares were split again. Ping Hai Corporation's previous shareholders only had 49% of the shares, while the Virtual Universe Company had 51%. And in truth, the previous 3 shareholders Luo Feng, Luo Hua and Suxin all received huge increases in wealth. Because even though the shares were lesser, Ping Hai Corporation's net worth went from close to 3,000 mixed elements from before to close to 33,000 mixed elements. Luo Feng, Luo Hua and Su Xian, the three of them added together had over 160 million mixed elements. The Virtual Universe Company's subsidiaries are split into 3 levels, 2 levels, 1 levels and special levels. Su Xian looked at the document in her hands. If the net worth reaches 1,000 mixed elements, it's a level 3 subsidiary. If the net worth reaches 100,000 mixed elements, it's a level 2 subsidiary. If the net worth reaches 10 million mixed elements, it's a level 1 subsidiary. If the net worth reaches 1 billion mixed elements, it's a special level subsidiary. The business department and the military department were the 2 main parts of the Virtual Universe Company. The manager of the level 3 subsidiary is still considered an outer member. The manager of the level 2 subsidiary can become a core member of the last phase secret region. The manager of the level 1 subsidiary is a member of the sky and land region. The manager of the special level subsidiary is an absolute beginning member. Su Xian looked at the document, her eyes gleaming. Our company's current net worth is close to 33,000 mixed elements. It's not far from 100,000 mixed element. Su Xian said softly, "We'll strive to reach it in 60 years. 60 years? The short-haired lady beside was shocked. The bigger the net worth, the bigger the scale, the harder it was to earn, and the harder it was to rise. 100 million universe dollars. Luo Hua could easily turn it into 1 billion universe dollars in 2 to 3 years. However, if it was 100 million mixed elements, even if Luo Hua was given 1 million to 10 million years, to raise it by 10 times, that was simply a dream. If he could really raise it to 1 billion mixed elements, the Virtual Universe Company would immediately treat him as an absolute being and protect him, immediately arranging for undyings to protect him, because this speed of earning wealth was even more terrifying than an emperor-level undying. Hence, small fights and squabbles didn't reflect one's level. These huge amounts of wealth and earning power were what the tycoons and big shots were competing for. Obviously, the Virtual Universe Company had high hopes for Ping Hai Corporation. 60 years. Su Xian nodded. 60 years to become a level 2 subsidiary, that's too hard. The short-haired lady shook her head. Work hard. Su Xian smiled, thinking within, 60 years here. He should have just finished his training in Primal Chaos City. Before he finishes, to be able to see him in Yuxiang Mountain. I think his expression will be very interesting then. Su Xian's eyes were filled with anticipation. Primal Chaos City. This is the place. Luo Feng walked to the entrance of a mansion. At this time, groups of 2 or 3 cultivators entered the mansion. Today's True Yan's lecture, I heard he's talking about the 9 universe tablets 1st to 3rd pictures. Even though I'm currently studying the 4th picture, every time I listen to the basics, I gain something. Me too. A scholar is indeed a scholar. Sector lords and even undying warriors all entered the mansion. Luo Feng too entered the mansion. The signal scanner at the entrance scanned Luo Feng and didn't obstruct him. Obviously Luo Feng had the right to listen to the lecture. Within the mansion, a plaza that was 10 kilometers long and wide, there were already hundreds of warriors gathered. There's really a lot of people. Luo Feng sat in a corner. Young man, your first time attending a lecture? Sitting not far from Luo Feng was a bald old man. He could tell with one look that the person before him was only a universe level. Yes. Luo Feng nodded. A universe level attending a lecture, looks like you were chosen from the genius battle, and you're one of the top 2 in the genius battle. The bald old man smiled. At this time, there were already over 1,000 warriors gathered in the plaza. Rumble, an invisible pressure instantly covered the entire square, and the thousands of cultivators gathered in the square all quietened down to show their respect for the Grandmaster. A burly ape wearing golden armor walked toward the square, and with every step, his figure flashed across several kilometers. Behind him, dozens of cultivators followed him. Teleportation, that's teleportation. True Yan's ability to teleport has already reached an inconceivable level. Low voices of discussion sounded from below, but the voices were extremely soft. Those following behind him are all his disciples. If we can successfully become his disciples, that would be great. That depends on ability. Without ability, why would True Yen accept us? Luo Feng held his breath as he watched. In the distance, True Yen sat cross-legged. Beside him sat 10 disciples. As for the others that didn't manage to become his disciple, they were only here to listen to the lecture. Today I'll be carefully explaining the first 3 pictures of the 9 Universe tablet. These 3 pictures are the basic. True Yen extended his finger and pointed in mid-air. In mid-air complex engravings appeared, almost like the engravings on the golden horned beast scales. This first picture, the origin law revolves, it should be like this. In mid-air, the complex golden engravings revolved, almost like a mechanical wheel, infused with mysterious origin law energy. How mysterious! Luo Feng was dumbstruck. During the lecture, True Yen spoke very clearly. His descriptions were also very clear. However, the group of warriors still felt that it was extremely mysterious. According to their own experiences, the feeling was different. Alright, today's lecture ends here. 3 days later, True Yen said indifferently. Thank you, teacher. Over 1,000 warriors bowed respectfully. At this time, a black-haired youth walked out from the 1,000 warriors, heading straight to the front of the crowd. Immediately the gazes of the 1,000 warriors turned over, filled with shock. Is this punk going to become his disciple? Sitting at the top, True Yen revealed a smile. This Luo Feng, he's really going to become True Yan's disciple. In another mansion of Primal Chaos City, Blade Emperor who was training shook his head helplessly. P.S. Second chapter has ended. Tomato continues writing the third. Chapter 480. To the undying leader before him, True Yen Emperor, Luo Feng was filled with gratitude. When I first came to Primal Chaos City, I was just a small fry. True Yan's guidance allowed me to walk on the most correct path right from the start. Perhaps to him, it was just a casual instruction, but to me, it will probably affect the future for billions of years to come. Luo Feng respectfully knelt down, according to the rules of Primal Chaos City, under the gaze of over 1,000 warriors. He respectfully shouted, Teacher, please accept me as your disciple. Teacher, please accept me as your disciple. His voice reverberated. Thousands of cultivators looked at True Yen. To accept or not to accept? Ha! True Yen looked at Luo Feng, laughing loudly. From today onwards, you are my disciple. What? There was an uproar below. Follow me. True Yen stood up, leading the group of disciples behind him. Luo Feng followed too. What? True Yen Emperor accepted Luo Feng as his disciple. The handsome Gu Si Luo frowned. Right now, Luo Feng and Bolin both have undying leaders as teachers. And Rong Jun, he even has a universe country leader as his teacher. They were originally in the lead, and now with a teacher guiding them, their improvement will definitely be even faster. Gu Si Luo gritted his teeth. I have to hurry up and pass the 3rd level as soon as possible. Only then can I acknowledge him as my master. Madman, you really can't underestimate him. Within the training grounds, the perspiring Rong Jun said seriously, My opponent isn't just Bolin, there's still Luo Feng. F***CK. True Yen is accepting a disciple? Prince Wuka of the Manka planet could only growl in a low voice and try his best. This group of geniuses all felt pressure, because it was not easy to become the disciple of an undying ancestor-level figure. First of all, passing the 3rd level was the prerequisite, and usually, out of the 1,000 people chosen from the genius competition, the number of people who could make it to the 3rd level in 30 years could be counted on one's fingers. In the previous genius battles, there were many times where less than 5 people managed to make it past the first 3 levels. Even if there were many geniuses gathered in a certain year, there would not be more than 10 of them. Even if one passed the first 3 levels, those undying experts rarely accepted disciples. Most of these old monsters had lived for billions of years. It would be a very, very long time before he would truly accept a disciple. As time passed, none of these geniuses would slack off. Especially when they still had a large number of targets in front of them to catch up to, these geniuses erupted with astonishing motivation. 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. On his 13th year in Primal Chaos City, Rong Jun passed the 3rd level. On his 19th year in Primal Chaos City, Luo Feng passed the 4th level, and on that day Bolin passed the 5th. The two of them were far ahead of the others. On this day, Rong Jun and the others tried to break through, but no one succeeded. On his 21st year in Primal Chaos City, Wuka passed the 3rd level. After 25 years in Primal Chaos City, Long Yun and Jiao Lai Shi passed the 3rd level. In the 28th year of coming to Primal Chaos City, Qian Shui passed the 3rd level. In the blink of an eye, 30 years had passed. Primal Chaos City, True Yen Palace. Luo Feng, there's still 10 days before you leave Primal Chaos City. True Yen smiled as he looked at Luo Feng. After you leave, if you have any problems with your training, you can ask me. As for other worldly matters, I hope you can solve them yourself. Unless you encounter a really big problem that you can't solve, then look for teacher, understand? Yes, teacher. Still dressed in the tight-fitting dark red armor, the black short-haired youth stood there. Even though compared to True Yen and the others, he was much smaller and skinnier, the fierce aura he gave off was still shocking. Compared to 30 years ago when he first came to Primal Chaos City, he wasn't as immature as before. There was a sense of ferocity. That was a special aura formed from comprehending the universe origin laws, and his personality fusing with his bones. True Yen nodded satisfactorily towards this disciple. He was extremely satisfied. Go. True Yen smiled. Luo Feng knelt heavily. This made True Yen shake his head and smile. Get up. Thank you, teacher, for your 20 years of teaching. Luo Feng knelt. Your disciple will definitely not let you down. At this time within, Luo Feng was filled with gratitude. This golden-haired ape-man before him, even though his position was high, he treated his disciple very well. 20 years. How long had Luo Feng lived till now? Even though he was grateful to his previous teacher, the master of the Yunmo planet, Hu Yenbo, he had never truly interacted with him. However, in Primal Chaos City, he had interacted with True Yen for 20 years. After 20 years, the teacher and disciple bond was naturally very strong. Haha, don't let me down? True Yen rubbed the fur on his chin, laughing. My first goal is to enter the primal region. The second goal is to become an undying and an emperor. Understand? Yes. Luo Feng replied firmly. Haha, over these countless years, I've taken in close to 100 disciples. The only one who has truly stepped into the undying level and been named emperor is your 3rd senior. True Yen smiled. I'm looking at you now. Luo Feng was very clear. His teacher had taken in a total of 92 disciples, 23 had already fallen, and only 35 followed him in Primal Chaos City. There were a few who were named emperor. Only one was named emperor, and that was the 3rd senior, called Yen Jun, an absolute warrior of the Nakameng clan. He had been under his teacher for a very long time. His teacher had lived for 1 trillion years. To be called the 3rd senior, that was definitely a disciple he took in over 100 million years ago, and now he was the idol of the other seniors. Yen Jun, his title was Bloodthirsty Emperor. In terms of fame, he was even stronger than his teacher True Yen. Of course, his teacher was extremely close to being a universe country leader. In terms of strength, he was definitely stronger than the 3rd senior. Go, go. True Yen smiled and waved his hand. Yes. Luo Feng got up and left. Walking out of his teacher's mansion, he turned back and looked, feeling complicated. The last time I left Earth, this time I'm leaving teacher's place. Luo Feng shook his head. You're still young, after training for 10 million years, you'll get used to it. Babata's voice resounded in his mind. All right. Luo Feng creased his eyebrows. Training for 10 million years, that's in the future. Right now, I haven't even lived for 100 years, there's no need to talk about such a distant matter. Walking on the street, Luo Feng exclaimed. 30 years. Just a flash. Luo Feng was delighted within. Compared to when I came, I'm already much stronger. Earth's body, as he hadn't trained, hence it had remained at Universe Level 1. However, after leaving Primal Chaos City, as long as he went to the life pool, it would be very easy to reach Universe Level 9. In truth, he didn't have any bottlenecks, he could totally break through to Domain Lord level in one go. The Masha clansman and the Golden Horned Beast were of the same level. As before coming to the Primal Universe, Luo Feng had prepared large amounts of internal world, the metals needed for Domain Lord level, hence he was able to maintain a normal evolution. Primal Chaos City had a total of 30 years. In the first 10 years, he would break through to Domain Lord Level 1, and Domain Lord Level 1 to 3 required 150 years. From Level 4 to 6, 600 years. From Level 7 to 9, 3,600 years. From Domain Lord Level 9 to Sector Lord Level, it required about 5,000 years. Using the best metals at the Domain Lord level, it could only raise the evolution efficiency to 52 times. 20 years in Primal Chaos City was equivalent to 1,000 years of normal evolution. Hence, currently, the Golden Horned Beast and Masha clansmen had both reached Domain Lord Level 6. If I go to the life pool, I'll have to stop evolving to Universe Level 9. If it evolves to Domain Lord level, Luo Feng thought, that would be troublesome. In theory, Domain Lord Level 1 can forcefully evolve to Domain Lord Level 9. However, I'm different from others. My improvement is limited by the inner world. His inner world was at the 6th level of the Domain Lord realm, so there was no bottleneck before reaching the 6th level. However, without improving his inner world, it was impossible for his physical body and soul to improve. When the Golden Horned Beast and the Masha clansmen reach the Domain Lord Level 9, I'll let the Earth human's body rise to Domain Lord Level 9. Luo Feng thought. In Primal Chaos City, my comprehension of the universe origin laws has improved the most. Luo Feng exclaimed. Comprehending the 9-universe Primal Chaos Tablet, coupled with the teachings of his teacher, True Yen, and comprehending the Floating Blood Secret Manual, he had indeed improved greatly. 10 years ago, he understood the first sword technique of floating blood. The entry level was the hardest, because he had experience and a teacher to guide him. What's more, out of the 108 blade techniques, the Raindrop Pictures 9 were the easiest. Hence, after spending 3 years, Luo Feng had comprehended the second blade technique, and another 3 years to comprehend the third. The further he went, the higher his efficiency. On the 28th year in Primal Chaos City, Luo Feng had comprehended the 9th blade technique. Since then, the first picture of the 9-universe tablet, the Raindrop Picture, had no more secrets in front of Luo Feng. He had completely comprehended it. The first 9 were easy. The middle 27 sword techniques were much more difficult, not to mention the last 72 sword technique. Right now, he was about to leave Primal Chaos City, and Luo Feng still hadn't comprehended the 10th blade technique. Even though I haven't comprehended the 10th blade technique, the second drizzle picture, I've improved a lot since 3 years ago. Luo Feng thought, there's still 10 days before I leave Primal Chaos City. Before I leave, I'll try the Heavenly Bridge again and see if I can pass the 5th level. If I can, I'll be able to study the tablet again. Bringing the last bit of comprehension, I'll slowly absorb it after I leave Primal Chaos City. A huge fish was flying within the unstable primal chaos of the primal universe. Within this huge fish, night of this batch of 1,000 geniuses, 816 are still alive. Dressed in a jade armor, Jade Emperor bowed and replied, "Of which the most outstanding is Bolin. He's currently past the 5th level. Next is Luofeng. He's past the 4th level. Below are the 5 that have passed the 3rd level, of which the most shocking is Luofeng. He's past the 4th level in his 19th year in Primal Chaos City, far ahead of the others. His strength is the closest to Bolin's. The other 10 Undyings all waited respectfully. On the other hand, Nine Swords Supremacy was listening to the conversation from his throne. He nodded and said softly, "Bolin? Luofeng?" Rumble, the ship continued forward. 9 Blade Knights sat in the ship and headed towards Primal Chaos City, to pick up Luofeng and his group. P.S. 3 chapters completed. Chapter 481. Ping High Company, 86th level meeting room. Big Sister Sue, there should be no problem, right? The short-haired lady looked at Su Xian. No problem. Su Xian seemed to sit calmly. Luofeng had been in Primal Chaos City for over 30 years, and the people of Earth in the actual universe had spent over 100 years. 100 years seemed long, however in the vast universe, it was an extremely short period of time. This was especially true for Su Xian, who had the eternal body. Her appearance had not changed at all compared to 100 years ago, but her eyes, her temperament, had clearly matured a lot. She was like a smooth jade that had been tempered by time, emitting her charm. I don't know if I can make it in time. Su Xian closed her eyes, muttering within, Luofeng is about to leave Primal Chaos City. Let's hope he passes the inspection in the next few days. Pop, pop, pop. The sound of knocking on the door resounded. Enter. Su Xian opened her eyes, her gaze deep and wise. This was the natural aura of being in charge of a huge corporation, managing over 100 million employees. The door opened, a very formally dressed Bo Te Lai, accompanied by a silver-haired green-eyed middle-aged lady. Behind them followed 8 other underlings. This group entered the meeting room together. How's the inspection? Su Xian smiled and stood up. Haha, I knew Mrs. Luo wouldn't disappoint us. Bo Te Lai laughed loudly. Beside him the silver-haired green-eyed middle-aged lady smiled. Mrs. Luo, according to our inspection department's inspection, the half-year report you provided is completely true, with a margin of error of less than 0.1%. Su Xian's face immediately revealed excitement. Big Sister Su, we've succeeded. The short-haired lady beside cheered excitedly. Congratulations, Mrs. Luo. The silver-haired green-eyed lady smiled and extended her hand, shaking hands. Is this the etiquette of you Earthlings? Thank you, thank you. Su Xian suppressed her excitement and shook hands with her. However, her eyes were filled with unconcealable tears. She had been working hard to wait for this day. Finally, at the very last moment, she had finally made it. Mrs. Luo. Bo Te Lai smiled. According to the half-year report, Ping High Company's current net worth is about 100,012 mixed elements. According to our Virtual Universe Company's many subsidiary companies system, Ping High Company's net worth has already reached the 2nd level. Hence, we will submit the application. Within a day, Ping High Company's grade will change. Mrs. Luo, you will also receive the corresponding authority. Yes. The silver-haired, green-eyed woman nodded. In a moment, the headquarters will send someone over to arrange for Madame Luo to enter the Corps. Congratulations, congratulations. Bureau Chief Bo Te Lai laughed. Madame Luo, you entered the Corps last phase secret domain, while Mr. Luo is in the Corps absolute beginning secret domain. Husband and wife both entering the Corps of the Virtual Universe Company. This is definitely a beautiful story. Su Xian's face was filled with uncontrollable excitement. Thank you, our company has prepared a banquet for everyone, Su Xinlian said. Madame Luo. The silver-haired, green-eyed lady shook her head and smiled. We still need to go back immediately and report the results of this review to our superiors, as well as submit your Pinghai Corporation's classification application. So, we won't be staying. Yes, the subsidiary's rank is rising. This matter is very important, we don't dare to stay. Deputy Director Bo Tae Lai said. After a while, the Virtual Universe Company's people left. Only Su Xin and her assistant were left in the meeting room. Sister Su, Sister Su. The short-haired lady cheered excitedly. We've succeeded, it's true, we've really expanded the company's scale before Mr. Luo Feng returned. Our net worth has reached the second level. My God, this is simply unbelievable, simply unbelievable. Su Xian nodded, her face filled with excitement. As long as we work hard, we can still do it. We've succeeded. We've really succeeded. Su Xian turned and looked at the huge French window beside. The glass reflected her silhouette. Compared to the time when Earth was attacked by the swallowing beast, her looks hadn't changed at all. She was still as beautiful, her body was still as good as ever. After 100 years of being in such a high position, she rarely got so excited. And at this time, the lady reflected in the glass was almost like a young lady on her first date, filled with excitement and anticipation. I wonder what expression he'll have when he sees me in Yuxiang Mountain. Su Xian thought softly, her eyes filled with anticipation. Luo Feng had been in Primal Chaos City for the past 20 years. 60 years had passed in the actual universe. Over 60 years, Su Xian had managed to raise over 30,000 mixed elements from the huge company, to operate it for over 60 years, expanding its net worth to over 100,000 mixed elements. Luo Hua's credit was within this, however Su Xian's credit as the person in charge couldn't be ignored. Over 60 years, earning over 60,000 mixed elements. This earning speed, even the Yun Mo planet master couldn't compare. Of course, the reason why Su Xian was able to reach this stage was actually because of the initial capital, as Luo Feng had given large amounts of money to his brother and wife, causing the Ping Hai Company to reach a total of close to 600 mixed elements. 600 mixed elements, comparable to an extremely wealthy sector lord, comparable to a normal poor undying. Such a huge amount of wealth, even the Black Dragon Mountain Empire Emperor couldn't take it out in one go. The initial capital was huge. Naturally, it was easy to expand the scale. If one were to say that the initial capital was only 100 million universe dollars, one would be considered extremely wealthy in the Black Dragon Mountain Empire. This amount of capital could buy a few hundred life planets. However, even if one struggled for 10 million years, expanding the capital by 10,000 times, it would only be 1 trillion universe dollars. That was just one mixed element. Hence, the initial capital was very important. Because of Luo Feng, Ping Hai Company's starting capital was close to 600 mixed elements. After that, with Su Xian's management capabilities and Luo Hua's investment capabilities, the huge capital grew slowly and with great difficulty, entering a virtuous cycle and attracting the investment of the Virtual Universe Company. The company's scale underwent a huge leap and continued to advance. Finally, 100 years, Ping Hai Company's net worth finally exceeded 100,000 mixed elements. This was a huge amount of wealth that made many undyings hold their breaths. Primal Chaos City. The energy flowed. Luo Feng sat crossed-legged on the balcony of his training quarters. On the other balconies were either standing or sitting. With a glance, tens of thousands of warriors were all grasping the time to watch the coiled origin law engravings in the sky, before closing their eyes to train. And Luo Feng seemed to be studying. In reality, his consciousness had entered the virtual universe training grounds, undergoing training time and time again. The 9 Universe Tablet Study Room. Tomorrow afternoon we can begin the next batch of warriors to study. Luo Feng had long been there to check. Then I'll attempt the 5th level of the Heavenly Bridge tomorrow morning. As for now, it's the last bit of training. I'll try my best to merge all these years of study, raising the Nanshin armament's power to its limit. Study was very important. Unleashing what he had studied was very important too. On the balcony, Luo Feng opened his eyes. Quickly come and see me. A voice resounded in his ears within his mind. Quickly come and see me. 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 The voice resounded time after time, causing the remaining 816 out of the 1,000 geniuses that were sent over to stop their training. It's a night. Luo Feng rushed into the sky. Shwa, 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 shwa. In the vast expanse of primal chaos city, silhouettes rushed into the sky, a total of over 900 silhouettes, all heading in the same direction. In the air above primal chaos city, a dark blue fish that was close to 1000 m long, almost like a monster from the primal chaos, was waving its tail, flying over from the shattered and condensed primal chaos space. That high and mighty aura that made one involuntarily submit came from this dark blue fish ship. Ka. The cabin door at the belly of the fish opened, 10 silhouettes flew out, leading them was a green-armored purple-scaled man. Suddenly, the large fish that was originally floating in mid-air immediately vanished. At this time, Luo Feng and the 816 geniuses, along with close to 100 undyings, were all gathered in the air above primal chaos city, waiting respectfully. Greetings, Knight. The group of undyings bowed respectfully. Greetings, Knight. Luo Feng and the vast group of geniuses bowed respectfully in mid-air. Humph! A low snort, almost like a heavy hammer smashing into the hearts of everyone in mid-air. The green-robed purple-scaled man was like a god, coldly gazing at the large group floating below, and the tens of thousands of warriors within primal chaos city all felt immense pressure, not even daring to look up. It's too terrifying. Luo Feng couldn't help but sweat from his forehead. Almost like an ant being stared at by a 10,000 m long dragon. I didn't expect the knight to be so terrifying when he's angry. Luo Feng held his breath within. Back when I first met the Nine-Blade Knight in the Virtual Universe Network, maybe the Virtual Universe Network only had his consciousness, hence the pressure wasn't that strong. The last time I came, he kept his aura hidden. I didn't expect him to release it a little. Silence. Close to 100 undyings and over 800 geniuses didn't dare make a sound. Primal Chaos City is the safest place I've arranged for you all. The green-robed purple-scaled man stood in mid-air, almost like a god gazing down at the group below. Out of the 1,000 of you, close to 20% have died. It really disappoints me. Silence. In the air above Primal Chaos City, Luo Feng and the group could only listen obediently, not daring to speak. There's still 10 days before you all have to leave Primal Chaos City. The green-robed purple-scaled man said indifferently. When that time comes, it won't be as safe as it is now. If even 20% of you die in such a safe place like Primal Chaos City, when you return to the actual universe, I'm afraid it'll only take 100 years before you're left with 500. Humph. Make the best use of the last 10 days, those who need to attempt the Heavenly Bridge, those who need to study the Primal Chaos Tablets, hurry up and study them. After we leave Primal Chaos City, the next time we return, it'll be a long time later. The green-robed purple-scaled man waved his hand and ordered, "Go on." Yes. The large group replied respectfully, after which they dispersed, heading towards different directions of Primal Chaos City. The pressure from the night was simply too great. P.S. This is the first chapter. Thank you brothers for voting yesterday, thank you very much. Chapter 482. The green-robed purple-scaled man took a step forward and disappeared from the skies of Primal Chaos City. He came to a rather large but simple mansion in a remote area of the city. This mansion's door was pitch black. Haha, it's rare for a good friend to visit me. Accompanied by laughter, the pitch-black door opened automatically. A three-eyed old man wearing a linen robe walked out. This three-eyed old man was the protector who had sent 52 doppelgangers to protect the Chaos Tablet, Kandri. Long time no see, so I came to see you. The Nine-Blade Knight smiled. The The two walked shoulder to shoulder into the living room of the mansion and sat opposite each other. The three-eyed old man smiled and poured some fruit wine. Nine-Blade, you wouldn't come here for no reason. Speak, what's the matter? Haha, then I'll be direct. The Nine-Blade Knight smiled. I just discovered a new universe secret region. Based on my estimations, it's definitely a very high-level one. The three-eyed old man's eyes gleamed. Universe secret realms were special secret realms that naturally formed during the evolution of the vast universe. Under normal circumstances, planets and stars would appear. However, due to some special circumstances, there would still be strange universe secret regions that could match the size of the Black Dragon Mountain starfield. The original universe was the largest, most ancient, and most powerful universe known to all. The secret realms in the original universe were all different in terms of danger, and the treasures they contained were also different. But for the worst secret realms in the new universe, at the very least, only world overlords could enter them. How high level? The three-eyed old man asked curiously. Anyone below the knight level would definitely die. The Nine-Blade Knight smiled. Those Emperor-level undyings have a very low chance of surviving. Interesting. The three-eyed old man was moved. In the original universe, there were very few that could harm undyings. A universe secret realm was actually able to kill those below the Paragon level. This meant that this universe secret realm was definitely very terrifying. The more terrifying it was, the more likely it was that there would be true universe treasures, treasures that even Paragons would be interested in. I just discovered it not long ago. I definitely won't invite those I don't trust. I came here to invite you. The Nine-Blade Knight looked at the three-eyed old man. Candeli, do you want to go? Candeli hesitated. Anyways, your clones can protect the tablet. What's more, with the city leader here, there won't be any danger. Venerable Nine Swords shook his head and said, as for the primal cosmos, it is just a small cosmos that has just evolved. It is not even a millionth of our original cosmos. Our original universe is the true center. You haven't gone out for several tens of thousands of epochs, right? It's about time you give it a try. Perhaps you'll find a great opportunity there. The three-eyed old man's eyes lit up. Inform me when it's time to assemble. The three-eyed old man looked at Venerable Nine Swords. Ha ha ha. With you around, our chances of success will be much higher. Premier Nine Swords laughed. Candeli was an ancient existence in the universe. His strength was unparalleled. The other races in the universe called him the protector of Primal Chaos City. This title was even more famous than the Nine-Blade Knight. The doppelganger technique was his most famous technique. His cloning technique wasn't as simple as creating clones. To undying beings, creating clones was very easy, but Kandri was different. Every clone he created had almost 60% of his strength. Therefore, in some dangerous places, using an avatar to explore was a very safe thing to do. Even if the avatar was destroyed, it wouldn't affect Kandri much. Kandri and the Nine-Blade Knight, these two absolute beings, were chatting. Suddenly, the Nine-Blade Knight frowned. What's up? Kandri frowned. A small matter. The Nine-Blade Knight smiled indifferently. Our virtual universe company's new batch of geniuses, that is Yuan Chen's disciple Rongjun. He just passed the 4th level. 4th level? Not bad at all. Kandri complimented. The first time the geniuses come to Primal Chaos City, there are very few who pass the 4th level. Including Rongjun, this batch already has 3. Bolin, Luo Feng and Rongjun, the Nine-Blade Knight revealed a smile. These 3 punks are all very outstanding. In the future, they may become your left and right arms. Kandri said. The Nine-Blade Knight smiled. On the balcony of the training quarters. What? Luo Feng, who was sitting cross-legged with his eyes closed, stood up, frowning. Rongjun passed the 4th level? Rongjun had passed the 3rd level in his 13th year in Primal Chaos City. However, every 3 levels was a threshold. Going from the third to the fourth was extremely difficult. Whether it was Bolin or himself, they both spent a long time to pass the fourth level. He passed the fourth level. Let's do it now. Luo Feng's eyes were filled with fighting spirit. I'll go attempt the fifth level now. His state affected his battle strength. Luo Feng was filled with fighting spirit now. Making a quick decision, he immediately went to attempt the heavenly bridge. Rong Jun passed the fourth level? Another fourth level? The other geniuses received the news at almost the same time. Virtual Universe Heavenly Bridge. In the center of that beautiful island, silhouettes appeared. There are so many people. The moment Luo Feng appeared, he saw there were already over 20 youths on the surrounding islands, and more were appearing. Obviously this batch of over 800 geniuses wanted to try it out before leaving Primal Chaos City. Rong Jun's breakthrough had stimulated everyone to immediately attempt it. Luo Feng, there are people on the 9-universe heavenly bridge, you're the first. The black-robed watchman Bevan smiled. Wuka, there are people on the huge axe heavenly bridge, you're the first. The watchman Bevan arranged the order for everyone. Some geniuses could immediately attempt it. Luo Feng, you're still trying? Wuka stood beside Luo Feng muttering, you're already so far ahead of me. But Rong Jun has caught up to me, I can't relax. Luo Feng smiled. HM? Luo Feng and Wuka looked at a silhouette that suddenly appeared beside them, still dressed in a white robe, still carrying a blood blade on his back. Death God Bolin. He's here too? Luo Feng frowned. That white-robed youth looked at Luo Feng and nodded, saying softly, Luo Feng, Bolin. Luo Feng's eyes were filled with fighting spirit. There were already over 100 geniuses gathered around. These geniuses looked at Luo Feng and Bolin, discussing secretly. These two have met again. The last time Luo Feng passed the fourth level, and Bolin passed the fifth. Don't tell me they're going to break through again today. How can the heavenly bridge be so easy to pass? However, in our batch, the only one who can compete with Bolin is Luo Feng, said Luo Feng. Luo Feng and Bolin only glanced at each other and didn't speak, however within they were filled with fighting spirit. Luo Feng, you can enter the 9-universe heavenly bridge. Watchman Bevan said, Bolin, there's someone on the bridge, you're the second below. Luo Feng glanced at Bolin. Bolin too looked over. So, Luo Feng became a beam of light, flying straight towards the distant 9-universe heavenly bridge. Times 9-universe heavenly bridge. The first 3 levels were filled with clouds and mist. The 4th and 5th levels were filled with raging winds. They were already extremely high up. The 5th level heavenly bridge was already too high above the ocean below. One could only see the gray winds of the 4th level with one's naked eye. They couldn't see the ocean at all. 5th level. Luo Feng stood on the bridge, looking at the tornado ahead. The constantly spinning tornado spoke. Choose fighter, controller or hypnotist. Pick one and defeat your opponent to enter the 6th level. Controller. Luo Feng didn't hesitate. Chi, a skinny man dressed in a silver armor, silver boots and a silver mask swiftly flew out of the tornado. He stood on the dark cloud shuttle and carried a dark golden long rod on his back. His weapons were the same as Luo Feng's. A universe level attempting the 5th level, you're quite confident. The silver-armored man sneered. Take out all your strength, otherwise if I attack, you won't even be able to resist. Arrogant bastard. Luo Feng stood on the dark cloud shuttle and stared coldly at the distant silver-armored man in front of the tornado. Hoo, the dark golden long rod on his back swiftly shot out beams of golden light that covered the skies and land. Large amounts of little golden blades floated before Luo Feng, countless golden threads flowed about, every golden blade maintained a certain distance from one another. The complicated engravings on the golden blades shot out large amounts of golden threads. A total of 1,600 little golden blades shot out over 10,000 threads infused with origin laws, intertwining and swiftly forming a misty huge totem pillar. Nanshin Armament's 4th level. Great skill. The totem pillar floated before Luo Feng. Only the 4th level? The silver-armored man laughed coldly. Universe level. Being able to unleash the 4th level is impressive, however. To attempt the 5th level of the Heavenly Bridge, that's a dream. Rumble. As he spoke, the dark golden staff on his back shot out a large amount of golden light in all directions like a hidden weapon. For a moment it was like a dazzling sun. Countless golden lights quickly gathered in the air, and every 81 small golden swords eventually formed a golden sword. A total of 36 real golden swords that were more than a foot long floated in front of him. Chi-chi, the 36 blades immediately gathered together, large amounts of golden threads intertwining. A dark golden long blade that was about 3 m long, almost like a real blade. There was no gap at all. If one didn't look carefully, one wouldn't even be able to see the golden threads. Just this huge dark golden long blade floated before the silver-armored man. Nanshin Armament's 5th level. Space Slicer. 5th level. Luo Feng thought, it's indeed like that. The opponent I'm facing in the 5th level of the Heavenly Bridge is using the 5th level of the Nanshin Armament. My current grasp of the drizzle picture, and my understanding of the gold origin laws, I'm still unable to unleash the 5th level. However, the first picture, raindrop picture, I've completely comprehended the 9 levels of wonders, the 9 levels fusing together, circulating as one. My totem golden pillar is much stronger than the totem golden pillars cast by others. Luo Feng still remembered clearly. Back then, when he attempted the 1st level of the Heavenly Bridge, he unleashed the Heavenly Blade formation, and the opponent only used 3 golden blades to defeat him. This meant one thing. It didn't mean that the higher the level of the Nanshin armament, the stronger one would be. Go and die. The silver-armored man stared coldly at Luo Feng. Xiao. A 3 m long dark golden long blade immediately pierced through the skies, bringing with it a golden afterimage. Rumble, the totem pillar 2 began to rumble. P.S. 2 chapters completed. Chapter 483. I'll let you understand, the 5th level of the Nanshin armament doesn't necessarily have to be stronger than the 4th. Luo Feng thought within. Standing on the dark cloud shuttle, he stood on the Heavenly Bridge and looked at the golden silhouette piercing at him. Luo Feng himself had already shot out a golden energy that wrapped around the totem pillar like a ribbon. Rumble, the totem pillar began to move. It seemed slow, however in an instant it blocked the golden silhouette. It actually blocked it? Slice. The distant silver-armored man's gaze was cold. Chi-chi-chi, the dark golden longsword was like a bolt of lightning, directly piercing the totem pillar, only to hear a loud boom. The totem pillar's surface immediately shook, some of the golden threads broke, and small golden swords also floated up. Merge. Luo Feng's thoughts moved and the floating little golden blades immediately merged back into the totem pillar. The golden threads infused with the origin laws once again wove together and formed the totem pillar again. What a powerful space slicer, it's indeed the 5th level. Luo Feng was shocked within. He didn't just study the space origin laws. His golden horned beast had never relaxed its study and comprehension of the gold origin laws. The gold origin laws were indestructible. This made the totem pillar extremely hard to destroy. He didn't expect that with just one exchange, the totem pillar was already on the verge of collapse. Ha ha! The distant silver-armored man's eyes were filled with disdain, laughing loudly. Punk, you want to pass the 5th level at universe level, dream on. Go back and train for another 1,000 years. Xiao. That dark golden long blade once again sliced through the sky. Luo Feng's expression was cold. 9-thread cycle. Rumble, the totem golden pillar dashed forward in midair, as if a giant was holding the totem golden pillar and slamming it forward. The totem golden pillar once again collided with the dark golden longsword that was trying to dodge. With a loud bang, the dark golden afterimage flew backward, and the totem golden pillar also shook slightly. The silver-armored man's expression changed. It blocked it again? Xiao. The dark golden long blade once again became a blur, the space around it trembled, bringing with it many blurs as it pierced towards Luo Feng. Rumble. The totem pillar left a long afterimage in the air. At the same time, it slowly appeared in front of the dark golden longsword and collided with it again. Boom, 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 boom. The dark golden long sword became a golden silhouette, almost like a fish in space, darting towards Luo Feng time and time again. And the totem pillar strangely seemed to be moving slowly, blocking the dark golden long sword time and time again. Every time they collided, the totem pillar would actually be able to maintain itself without collapsing. How can it be so fast? The silver-robed man frowned. My fourth level is different from the Nanshin armament's fourth level opponent on the Heavenly Bridge. Luo Feng revealed a smile as he thought. Yes, this was what he was relying on to clear the fifth level, the 9 lines cycle. Raindrop picture. After comprehending the 9 original blade forms, every single one of them represented one of the most basic mysteries, able to allow the weapon to follow the exquisite ripples and attack. However, as the space ripples were very complicated, there were all sorts of ripples. Just like the undercurrents in the ocean, Luo Feng wasn't able to adapt to all of them. Only when he met with an appropriate undercurrent could his speed reach a shocking level. And Luo Feng's comprehension of the 9 wonders should be considered the most basic and basic 9 of the space origin laws. Hence, at any point in space there would be one of these wonders. This allowed Luo Feng to use these 9 wonders to maintain a shocking speed for the totem pillar. Also, according to this characteristic, Luo Feng used the 9 threads of the 10,000 thread flow, combining them together to create what he saw as a perfect control of the 9 thread cycle. With me as the center, within a 500 kilometers radius, this is my 9 thread cycle's absolute control region. Luo Feng stood on the dark cloud shuttle and fiercely rushed towards the distant silver-armored man. Yes, absolute control. Rumble, 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 rumble. The totem pillar immediately seemed to transform into 9 totems, within a 500 m radius of the sphere, blocking the dark golden long blade time and time again. Go and die. Luo Feng controlled the totem pillar to block the dark golden long blade, swiftly closing in. As long as the two got close, he would be able to pull the opponent into his absolute control region. Then, as long as he controlled the totem pillar, he would be able to easily kill the opponent. The silver-armored man's expression changed, immediately stepping on the dark cloud shuttle. With a whoosh, close to 1,000 images appeared in mid-air, and he fled far away. I admit you are strong, but you think you can beat me just like that? Dream on. The silver-armored man roared through his spirit energy. The distant silver-armored man's eyes were filled with rage, looking at the totem pillar not too far away from Luo Feng. He roared, "Break!" Suddenly, the dark golden longsword that was originally moving at an extremely fast and unpredictable speed that wanted to go around the golden totem pillars no longer chose to go around the golden totem pillars. Instead, it chose to destroy the golden totem pillars. Rumble! The dark golden long blade became a golden laser, madly clashing against the totem pillar, fiercely clashing against its surface. Immediately large amounts of the golden threads on the pillar's surface broke, the little golden blade crumbled and floated. This made the originally confident Luo Feng's expression change. Not good. The dark golden long blade didn't stop at all, once again clashing against the totem pillar, causing Luo Feng, who was controlling the totem pillar with spirit energy, to go pale. The second clash made Luo Feng's expression even uglier. This time he was in big trouble. The Nanshin armament's 5th-level space slicer's power was much stronger than he had imagined. Originally, He thought he could rely on the 9-thread cycle to create an absolute control region, as long as the distance between him and the opponent was reduced to 500 m. He would be able to instantly control the totem pillar to finish off the opponent. As long as he was within the absolute control region, the totem pillar's speed would be able to surpass the dark golden long blade. However, the Nanshan Armament's 5th-level space slicer, the dark golden long blade formed, had two big advantages. One was that it was fast and unpredictable, the second was that its attack power was extremely strong. At the start, the silver-armored man wanted to use the dark golden long blade to dodge the totem pillar and kill Luo Feng, hence in terms of control, he was more inclined to unleash the dark golden long blade's speed. However, Luo Feng had comprehended the 9-thread cycle. Within a 500 m radius, the totem pillar's speed was terrifyingly fast, able to easily block the dark golden long blade every time, surpassing the opponent in terms of speed. The first advantage, speed, was ineffective, however it still had its second advantage. Why was the 5th level called Space Slicer? Luo Feng finally understood. Qi. Just like a laser shooting over, Luo Feng didn't dare not block. If he didn't, that terrifying dark golden long blade would pierce right through his head. Rumble! That golden blade pierced fiercely into the totem pillar. Luo Feng felt his consciousness tremble violently. The entire totem pillar's blocking side almost crumbled. Luo Feng could only madly use his spirit energy to try and form the totem pillar again. What a strong consciousness! Let's see how many times you can last. The silver-armored man roared. If one's consciousness wasn't strong enough, one hit and the totem pillar would crumble. The golden horned beast was currently Domain Lord level 6, hence in reality Luo Feng's consciousness was Domain Lord level 6. The golden horned beast's consciousness was naturally strong. Otherwise, it wouldn't be able to withstand these 3 hits. Not good, just 3 hits and it's already used up close to 30% of my spirit energy, and my mental energy is extremely fatigued. Luo Feng's face was pale, his eyes staring hard at his opponent. Rumble! The 4th time. Rumble! The 5th time. Luo Feng's lips were pale, staring hard at his opponent. Again and again he formed the totem pillar that had almost completely crumbled. I don't believe you can hold on forever. Even if your consciousness can hold on, I don't believe your spirit energy can't hold on. The silver-armored man roared, again. Rumble. The 6th time. The totem pillar was once again smashed and crumbled by February 3rd. Luo Feng's entire consciousness was in a half-blurry state, as using all his strength to control the totem pillar required a large amount of spirit energy to infuse into it, and the spirit energy too was infused with consciousness. Every hit was equivalent to smashing into his consciousness. Again. Luo Feng grit his teeth. The unwillingness to admit defeat in his bones made him want to form the totem pillar again. Condense. A large amount of willpower, like countless small hands, grabbed the scattered golden swords. Using the profound understanding of the origin of space and origin of metal, the willpower once again gathered into the golden totem pillar. Strands of golden threads containing the power of the laws extended out, not right. While condensing the totem pillar, Luo Feng, who had already entered a half-blurry state, had an image flash in his mind, the 9 universe tablets raindrop picture. This raindrop picture had a total of 9 drops. Theoretically speaking, Luo Feng had already completely comprehended these 9 drops. He had already comprehended the essence of it. However, at this time, it's like this, it's like this. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed brighter and brighter. Totem pillar. Luo Feng's entire aura rushed through the sky, controlling the totem pillar to immediately form one body. Die. Luo Feng pointed at the distant silver-armored man, only to see the totem pillar rumble and rumble. The surrounding space was like a flatbread being flattened. Pring! The distant dark golden blades once again fiercely clashed over. However, as they neared the totem pillar, their speed strangely decreased. By the time they clashed with the totem pillar, their power was already much weaker. How can this be? The distant silver-armored man's eyes were filled with shock. Rumble! The totem pillar was completely undamaged, it seemed to be slowly moving, instantly appearing before him. Chi! Like crushing an ant, it immediately pressed over, crushing the silver-armored man into meat paste. Standing on the dark cloud shuttle in mid-air, the pale Luo Feng's eyes gleamed, muttering, "Yes, I've comprehended the 9 drops of the raindrop picture before, however. I haven't comprehended the entire picture." Luo Feng looked in mid-air, almost as though he could see the 9 space origin laws ripples merging and separating, matching the raindrop picture. It was a sight to behold. 5th level. Pass. P.S. First chapter has ended. Today there are 3 chapters. Please support brothers. Chapter 484. No wonder when I studied the 9 Universe tablet and looked at the raindrop picture, I always felt it was perfect. I didn't realize it back then, only now do I understand. Luo Feng became a beam of light and swiftly flew on the 6th level. His blood was boiling within, and he was extremely excited. So the raindrop picture's 9 raindrops intertwine and connect to form a perfect whole. Luo Feng was extremely excited. The floating blood manual analyzed the 108 most basic wonders. However, in truth, the 9 Universe tablet was left behind by an ancient pinnacle of existence in the universe. How could the raindrop painting, one of the 9 paintings inscribed by that existence, be simple? Just like an octopus tentacle affecting space. Luo Feng muttered. It was too beautiful. When he unleashed the totem pillar earlier, it completely enveloped the blade's domain within, directly smashing the opponent. It was known as a simple technique. And Luo Feng's comprehension of the raindrop picture, the 9 raindrops weren't isolated, but intertwined to form a perfect combination, unleashing the totem pillar. It was like a formless 9 threads extending into the surrounding space, affecting it. Hence, the opponent's dark golden long blade was suppressed by the surrounding space, causing its speed to decrease. The totem pillar was incomparably tyrannical as it crushed the opponent to death. If before, when I isolated and comprehended the 9 wonders, I was still using the universe space ripples to make my attacks faster, now, Luo Feng thought, with the 9 combined, I can already affect the surrounding space to a certain extent. A fish swam in the ocean. And this fish Luo Feng, in the universe space ocean, was already using the water to suppress the opponent. From going along with space to affecting space, this was an incredible progress. Of course, compared to those who could casually cut space, seal space, even changing space coordinates etc., Luo Feng was still far from it. However, at least some sector lords, their comprehension of the space origin laws weren't as high as Luo Feng's. Luo Feng was purely trying to pass the 6th level. The 5th level was already so difficult, the 6th level was still far from him. However, with some experience he would be able to pass it in the future. The opponent on the 6th level was still using the Nanshin Armament's 5th level space slicer. Chi! One move passed through Luo Feng's totem pillar and sliced through his head. Luo Feng's attempt at the 6th level failed. He lost in an incomparably straightforward manner. According to the Floating Blood's description, I have to comprehend the 2nd picture to pass the 6th level. I've comprehended the 1st painting, raindrop painting, to the extreme, but I've only comprehended the surface of the 2nd painting, drizzle painting. To be able to pass the 5th level is already my limit. Luo Feng understood as he failed. A solid foundation was very important. However, the depth of one's comprehension was also very important. The 2nd diagram was much more profound than the 1st one, and it was also much more powerful. On the heavenly bridge, in the center of the island, more than 300 geniuses were waiting, preparing to challenge the bridge. "Bolin, you can go in," Watchman Bevan said from afar. The white-robed youth was about to charge towards the universe heavenly bridge. Let me inform everyone, just now, Luo Feng passed the 5th level. Watchman Bevan shouted loudly. The 300 or so geniuses, who had been bustling with activity, instantly quieted down. The members of the heaven and earth region, the absolute beginning region, and the primal region were especially shocked. 5th level. The white-robed youth Bolin, who was rushing towards the bridge, suddenly stopped. 5th level. Bolin's eyes gleamed. Then this 6th level, I have to pass it, I have to. So, Bolin sped up again, flying straight into the universe heavenly bridge. Luo Feng passed the 5th level? How can it be that easy? I heard that in the last 30 years of the genius competition, the most outstanding only made it to the 4th level. The higher it gets harder, to break through the 5th level is extremely difficult. How did Luo Feng pass it? He's already caught up to Bolin. Bolin only made it to the 5th level. Crazy, that Luo Feng is too crazy. This batch of geniuses, along with Rong Jun and the others whose consciousness had returned to Primal Chaos City, were all shocked. I just passed the 4th level, Luo Feng, you passed the 5th? Rong Jun gripped the earth-splitting blade in his hand, his eyes burning with flames. It's good that you know you're behind. This huge axe tablet's second move, I'll show you again. The tall silhouette beside said slowly, his voice causing the space to tremble. Yes, teacher. Rong Jun replied respectfully. Primal Chaos City, within Tru Yen Emperor's residence. Tru Yen, Tong Nan Monarch, and Jade Monarch were chatting casually together. They were very happy. Tru Yen revealed an expression of glee. Congratulations. Jade smiled at Tru Yen. Tru Yen, you've taken in a good disciple. Haha. Tru Yen laughed loudly. What? Tong Nan Emperor was curious. Just now, Tru Yen's new disciple passed the 5th level. Jade smiled. Jade was specially tasked with collecting information on the new batch. Naturally, she had instructed the watchman Bevan, the moment any of the new disciples broke through, he would immediately inform her. As for Tru Yen, he had instructed her earlier too. 5th level. Tong Nan Emperor put down the wine glass in his hand, smiling and clapping. Rare, the most outstanding genius from the last batch of our Virtual Universe Company's 1000 only managed to pass the 4th level. Jade smiled and nodded. Recently our Virtual Universe Company organized the 1000th Genius Competition. Within these 1000 batches, within the first 30 years of Primal Chaos City, there were 4,168 who passed the 3rd level. There were 926 who passed the 4th level. There were 32 who passed the 5th level. There were none who passed the 6th level. Every 10,000 years the Virtual Universe Company organized a genius competition. The number of people who passed the 3rd level could be counted on one's fingers, and on average only one passed the 4th level. If a batch's overall level was slightly weaker, it would result in no one passing the 4th level. If the overall level was high, there might be 2 or 3 who passed the 4th level. Like Luo Feng's batch, Bolin, Luo Feng and Rong Jun, these 3 had all passed the 4th level. On average, only one genius passes the 5th level in every 30 batches. Jade smiled at Tru Yen, and these absolute geniuses might not even choose the 9 Universe tablet. This Luo Feng is really a rare seedling that only appears once every 10 million years. Haha. Tru Yen laughed heartily. I'll inform the knight about this. Jade immediately informed. This time she didn't go personally, as Nine-Blade Knight and the Protector Candeli were discussing important matters. Within the Primal Chaos Tablet Protector Candeli's mansion, the 2 pinnacle beings were discussing. Good news? Luo Feng passed the 5th level of the Heavenly Bridge. Luo Feng? When your Virtual Universe Company's punks first arrived, the most exceptional was Bolin. Bolin's comprehension of the space laws was extremely high. Many sector lords couldn't compare to him. These 30 years, Bolin mainly spent his energy on the time origin law comprehension. I didn't expect this Luo Feng to be so exceptional. I just received news that Bolin passed the 6th level. It's not strange, this Bolin is an absolute genius that only appears once every 10 million years. These 10 million years, no one from your virtual universe company has passed the 6th level. It's about time someone did. What shocked me was Luo Feng. In terms of improvement, these 30 years, he's improved even more than Bolin. Candeli, you think highly of Luo Feng? Right. Candeli, Luo Feng is not bad, however I admire Bolin more. To be able to comprehend the universe primal chaos tablet to the 6th level, it's not easy. This can be said to be the most difficult tablet. 9 blades, mastering is better than being a master. Being too ambitious isn't a good thing. To simultaneously control time and space, how difficult is that? Even you and I can't do it, much less Bolin. On the other hand, Luo Feng is more stable. I've just received footage from the Watchman Bevan. How? Luo Feng only used the Nanshin armament's 4th level to pass the 5th level, Tisk Tsk. His foundations are really solid. I like this punk Luo Feng more and more. I didn't pay much attention to him before. Nanshin armament 4th level? I've seen the footage he passed. Solid, what a solid foundation. Candeli, you're right, this Luo Feng in the future, he'll probably be very shocking. Haha, asterisk, 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 asterisk. Luo Feng couldn't hear the conversation between the two absolute beings, however he received news from the Watchman Bevan. Bolin had passed the 6th level. He actually passed the 6th level? On the balcony, Luo Feng's emotions were raging. What's there to be shocked about, Luo Feng? You can at most unleash a few hundred images now. And that Bolin already had over 1,000 images during the genius battle. Babata's voice resounded in Luo Feng's mind. If this Bolin chose to train in space, he would have long passed the 6th level. He chose the universe primal chaos tablet, as he lagged behind in the time laws, hence he only passed the 6th level today. Right. Luo Feng nodded within. Back in the genius battle, he could unleash 9 images. Bolin, however, could instantly create over 1,000. At the starting line, he was much weaker than Bolin. At least now I'm very close to him, Luo Feng thought. Afternoon of the 2nd day. Luo Feng arrived at the Primal Chaos City leader's residence, within the training room pathway. Lord Candeli. Luo Feng respectfully bowed to the 3-eyed old man guarding the training room. The 3-eyed old man smiled and nodded. Wait a moment, the first batch inside is about to come out. Yes. Luo Feng nodded. Within he was suspicious. Why did he feel that this primal chaos tablet protector was different? Almost more intimate than before. After a while, the 6 people inside had all come out. Go in. The 3-eyed old man smiled. Work hard. After this time's study, you'll have to wait a long time before you can return to Primal Chaos City. You can now look at the 2nd and 3rd pictures of the 9 Universe tablet. There's no need to look at the last 6 for now. Yes. Luo Feng nodded. Following which he rushed into the training room, simultaneously instructing Babata. Babata, close the virtual universe network, forbid any calls, mail, etc. My study cannot be disturbed for these 7 days. Understood, these kinds of things, I don't need you to instruct me. Entering the training room, standing in front of the huge primal chaos tablet shrouded in chaos energy, Luo Feng began his final study before leaving Primal Chaos City. P.S. 2nd chapter has arrived, continue writing the 3rd. Chapter 485. Ganwu Continent, Ping High Company Level 89, Su Xian's office. Your Majesty Su Xian, congratulations. From now on, you are officially a core member of the Virtual Universe Company. A tall and skinny silver-eyed old man dressed in a simple white robe smiled. In the virtual universe Yuxiang Mountain Last Phase region, you have a place to stay. At the same time, you also have a place to stay in the Last Phase region. You can choose to head to the Last Phase region. Last Phase region? Where is it? Su Xian smiled curiously. Very far. The white-robed old man smiled. The company has specially arranged for a universe ship to pick you up. You'll have to fly for a few years in the dark universe. Is it close to the absolute beginning region? Su Xian asked. No. The white-robed old man shook his head. The 4 secret regions were born from the vast universe a very long time ago. They are all very far from each other. The last phase region and absolute beginning region are in different star regions. Star region? Su Xian was disappointed. Star region, it could be said to represent the largest area in the universe. A star region was usually the size of a universe country. That was an extremely huge territory. If the absolute beginning region and last phase region were close, Su Xian would really want to go. That way, she would be able to be with her husband in reality. Your Majesty Su Xian, you are a business department member. There's no need to head to the distant last phase region. The white-robed old man smiled. The environment of the universe region is only helpful to the fighters. Almost all the core members of the business department live in their own homes. Of course, if Your Majesty Su Xian wishes to head to the last phase region, you can apply to. There's no need. Su Xian shook her head. I've already conveyed everything. Your Majesty Su Xian, I'll leave first. The tall and skinny old man bowed and left. Only Su Xian was left in the office. Looking at the documents on the table, Su Xian's eyes were filled with excitement. Pa, pa, pa. The sound of knocking on the door resounded. Enter. Su Xian shouted. Big Sister Su, Big Sister Su. The short-haired lady ran in and shouted, Has the core approval been approved? HM. Su Xian was filled with joy, nodding. That's great. The short-haired lady cheered excitedly. Big Sister Su, you've finally succeeded. En Lan, thank you for all these years. Su Xian looked gratefully at her good sister beside her. The short-haired woman beside her was a good partner she had met when she was starting her business on Earth. After so many years, the two of them could be considered a golden combination. Her good sister, Dong Lan, had also benefited from her relationship with Su Xian. For example, after 100 years, Dong Lan's appearance had changed very little. What are you talking about? Hurry up and inform your friend, the short-haired woman said with a chuckle. Yes. Su Xian took a deep breath. How long has it been? He had been fighting for this day for so long. Request a call. Su Xian sent a call request to Luofeng, but the call was cut off right after it was sent. You turned off the call request? Su Xian was startled. No, there's still about 7 days before he leaves Primal Chaos City. There shouldn't be anything important during this time. What's wrong, Big Sister Su? The short-haired woman was puzzled. I can't connect. Su Xian shook her head. Primal Chaos City. Luofeng walked out of the city leader's residence. His mind was still filled with the comprehension from the 9-universe tablet. Make the best use of my time. There's still 2 more days before I leave Primal Chaos City. Luofeng became a beam of light and flew towards his training quarters. I've studied the 9-universe tablet, and there's a large amount of comprehension that needs to be digested and turned into my own. Looking at the universe origin laws in the sky, it's beneficial for my comprehension. So, Luofeng landed on the balcony of his training quarters and sat crossed-legged. He closed his eyes and began to organize his 7 days of studying the 9-universe tablet. Occasionally he would look up at the sky, watching the universe origin laws and engravings that naturally revolved within the crevices of the universe space, intersecting and reflecting, occasionally gaining something. 1 day, 2 days, prepare to leave. A voice suddenly resounded within Luofeng's mind. Luofeng was shocked awake. With a glance, he saw in the distant sky a large fish-shaped dark blue ship hovering in the air above Primal Chaos City, silhouettes rushing into the sky. We're leaving. Luofeng rushed into the sky too. Over 800 people, from all over Primal Chaos City, flew towards that universe ship. While flying towards the ship, Luo Feng looked down at the ancient city shrouded in chaos energy. Teacher! Going out, it'll be 100 to 1,000 times more dangerous than Primal Chaos City. Be careful, don't throw my True Yan's face. A voice pierced through 10,000 kilometers and resounded within Luo Feng's ears. Luo Feng nodded heavily. After spending 20 years with his teacher, their relationship was naturally deep. Silhouettes followed the large fish's belly cabin door and flew into the ship. Within the resting quarters of the ship, the 816 youths entered the resting quarters and began to chat with one another. Luo Feng, you sure are vicious. And you, Rongjun, the Manka Prince Wukka's expression was unhappy. You two, one passed the 5th level and the other the 4th, both leaving me in the dust. It's too sad. Since you've realized the difference, then work hard. Luo Feng patted Wukka's shoulder. Wukka was stunned. You do have to work hard. Rongjun walked over too and patted Wukka's shoulder. Damn, you two punks are too much of a bastard. I'm so sad and you don't even comfort me. Wukka shouted weirdly. Luo Feng and Rongjun both laughed. While Luo Feng, Rongjun and Wukka were chatting and laughing, the others were also chatting in groups of 3 to 5 according to their relationship. However, there were still some who didn't interact with others. Like the white-clothed youth with the blood blade on his back, he was always alone at the edge, not interacting with others. Rumble, as that green-armored silhouette walked into the hall, that heart-palpitating aura made everyone quiet down, not daring to make a sound. Primal Chaos City's 30 years of basic training has ended. Nine-Blade Knight's gaze swept past the 816 youths before him. Everyone lowered their heads, not daring to meet his gaze. Your batch's death rate is considered rather low, however in terms of results, it's considered outstanding. Especially Bolin, Luo Feng and Rongjun, they're not bad. Immediately the large group of youths below were in a commotion. Many turned to look at the three. Bolin had passed the Heavenly Bridge's 6th level. He had led by too much from the start. Everyone was already numb. Luo Feng had passed the 5th level. Rongjun had passed the 4th level. Amongst the three, everyone was numb to death. God Bolin. They were envious of Rongjun, envious that he had a universe country leader as his teacher. Towards Luo Feng, they were shocked and impressed. Without a universe country leader as his teacher, he actually passed the 5th level. This improvement was indeed shocking. Luo Feng turned to look. The white-clothed youth Bolin was looking over. The two's gazes met. Bolin nodded. Luo Feng nodded too. The two saw each other as opponents. Luo Feng's goal was to catch up and even surpass Bolin. And Bolin wanted to leave the shocking improvement Luo Feng far behind. And at this time, Luo Feng? In the corner of the group, Long Yun looked quietly at the distant Luo Feng. The distance between us is getting bigger and bigger. I'm from the primal region. After passing through the distorted time tunnel, the universe ship finally entered the actual universe. We've already left the primal universe. The green-robed purple-scaled man looked at the group of youths below. This represents your safest Primal Chaos City training has officially ended. From now on, you will be split into 4 teams and sent to the Primal Region, Absolute Beginning Region, Sky and Land Region and Last Phase Region respectively. From now on, it won't be as safe as Primal Chaos City. I wish you all good luck. I hope the next time I see you, 500 of you are still alive. The green-robed purple-scaled man finished. Rumble, the universe ship began to slow down. After a while, the cabin door opened. Luo Feng and the group walked out of the ship. With a glance they could see the distant mountain ranges, the ships in the distance, silhouettes flying in the sky, and the many stars in the sky. We've arrived at the Virtual Universe Company headquarters. Luo Feng flew out of the cabin door and slowly landed. Right, Babata, activate the internet connection. Understood. ********* Virtual Universe. Yuxiang Mountain Absolute Beginning Villa 1106. Within the study. Su Xian, there's actually 111 calls? Luo Feng appeared in the study, opening his laptop. Why the rush? Did something important happen? On the laptop's screen, the call was quickly connected, and Su Xian's image appeared. So many calls, what's so important? Luo Feng asked nervously. There's one important thing, Su Xian said on the screen. What is it? Luo Feng asked. Go to Yuxiang Mountains Public Region, Wanyu Tower, and meet someone. Su Xian said. Yuxiang Mountain Public Region? Luo Feng was curious. Other than the servants, only the core members could be in Yuxiang Mountain. He didn't know many core members. Which one of them would need to contact him through his wife? There wasn't such a person. Who is it? Luo Feng was filled with curiosity. Go, you'll know. Su Xian said. Hurry, it's very important. Luo Feng was even more curious. Luo Feng walked out of the entrance of the absolute beginning region, after which he became a beam of light and flew towards the public region. He actually knows about the public region's Wanyu Tower? And he even asked me to meet him in the public region. Just who is this person? Luo Feng thought. In the entire Black Dragon Mountain starfield, there aren't many core members. The more he thought, the more curious he got. The public region was very luxurious. Because this was the only place where the core members of the 4 regions of Yuxiang Mountain could gather together. One had to know that the core members were all considered wealthy, hence the businesses here were very developed. Wanyu Tower. Wanyu Tower. Luo Feng could see the name of the distant 9-story black wooden skyscraper. This skyscraper was surrounded by large amounts of rare flowers and plants, causing the surroundings to be filled with a faint fragrance. Luo Feng descended into the crowd below and headed towards Wanyu Tower. Just who is it? Luo Feng smelled the fragrance and walked towards the entrance of Wanyu Tower. Suddenly he stopped. In the distance, at the entrance of Wanyu Tower, beside the beautiful flowers stood a beautiful silhouette. She was looking at him silently. The two stood in front of Wanyu Tower, facing each other. P.S. End of 8th chapter. Chapter 486. Yuxiang Mountain Public Area, Wanyu Tower, 9th floor. Sitting by the railing, one could see some rocks and spring water in the distance. And then there was the Virtual Universe Company. Seeing that my Ping Hai Company's assets were good and growing quickly, plus the scale was large enough, hence they came to acquire it. Back then they were prepared to pay 6 times the original price. Su Xian sat across the table, explaining to Luo Feng how she had become a core member of the Virtual Universe Company. Our company's assets have increased tenfold. It was very dangerous that time. Fortunately, my brother Luo Hua used his connections to help me. Finally, before you leave Primal Chaos City, your net worth has reached. Luo Feng sat there and looked at his wife in front of him as he spoke. His heart was filled with complicated emotions. He was touched deep in his heart. Really, he didn't think that his career-driven wife would work so hard just to be able to stand with him and be closer to him. Geniuses will make others feel pressured. Babata's voice resounded in Luo Feng's mind. When they are with the geniuses, they will only see the distance between themselves and the geniuses getting bigger and bigger. No matter how hard they work, the gap will only get bigger and bigger. Therefore, the friends of geniuses are mostly geniuses. Luo Feng was shocked. Yes. How many of his friends from junior high and high school were still in contact with him? Even Wei Wen, who had grown up in diapers and was as close as a real brother, had only seen him once in many years in the virtual universe. Even his own family members had only seen each other once in a long time. Instead, he had more opportunities to meet Rong Jun, Wuka, and the others. She watched as her husband roamed the universe, his status rising higher and higher. Of course your wife is happy and proud, but you are also getting further and further away from her, to the extent that you only see her once in 10 years. What kind of stimulation is this to your wife? So, your wife wants to be close to you, to be able to stand by your side and not be left behind. Babata sighed. Babata's voice resounded within Luo Feng's mind. Looking at his wife before him, Su Xian was still speaking. Just like that, I too became a core member of the Virtual Universe Company. Awesome, right? Su Xian scrunched her nose and proudly raised her head. Then she awkwardly looked at Luo Feng. I didn't even ask for your opinion on the company's acquisition. You won't be mad, right? You gave me full authority to manage the company. You even said that you wanted to meditate in Primal Chaos City. You didn't have time at all. Silence. Luo Feng extended his hand and held Su Xian's hand. Su Xian. Luo Feng looked at his wife. Su Xian was startled. I'm sorry. Luo Feng said softly, filled with guilt. Su Xian's eyes instantly moistened. The Virtual Universe Company headquarters, this was an incomparably vast continent floating in space. Compared to it, the stars were as small as sesame seeds. Primordial District Bolin, Long Yun, head to the primordial mystic realm. The two of you will follow the sovereign and set off, so stay here for now and wait for the sovereign. Absolute beginning members, head over there and take that rock-gray meteorite-like universe ship. Members of the Heaven and Earth region, take the second ship next to it, the purple-red one. Members of the Apocalypse Zone, you will take the largest of the three ships, also the black one. The silver-robed woman standing at the front desk of the conference hall said loudly. At the same time, she pointed at the three spaceships that had already landed outside the transparent glass. Now you may depart. Rumble, the 816 youths all stood up. The four secret regions are actually not in the same place. In the future, if we brothers want to meet, we can only meet in the virtual universe. We'll be leaving first. Goodbye. The friends all said their goodbyes. Bolin and Long Yun remained in the conference hall. The others followed the exit and headed out. Once they were outside, they naturally split into three groups and headed towards different universe ships. Your Majesty Rongjun, Your Majesty Luo Feng, Your Majesty Qian Shui. At the entrance of that meteorite-like universe ship, a handsome and courteous blood-red-haired man smiled as he welcomed the 8 members of the Absolute Beginning region. As he entered the cabin, Luo Feng turned to look at the conference hall. It was a pity that he could see outside, but the outside couldn't see inside. However, Luo Feng could feel that there were people watching him. Bolin, you are only my current opponent, Luo Feng thought, following which he entered the cabin. After a while, the 3 F-grade universe ships, with a rumbling sound, took off one after another. Within the conference hall, Bolin and Long Yun, who were waiting for the 9-Blade Knight to depart, looked through the glass and watched the 3 ships take off. Luo Feng, Rongjun. Long Yun watched quietly. His thirst for victory was burning. I will surpass you all, I definitely will. The 3 ships quickly reached light speed and entered universe travel. As the Absolute Beginning region, Sky and Land region and Last Phase region were all in different locations, the 3 ships split up and headed towards their respective destinations. Dark Universe. A meteorite was swiftly flying, constantly accelerating, 20 times light speed. 21 times light speed, within the meteorite, within the banquet hall. Welcome to the Absolute Beginning region. The long dining table had 9 undyings and 8 universe-level youths. The one speaking was the one sitting in the main seat. His face was covered in scales, and he had 18 horns on his head. His entire being emitted a savage energy. I, Meteorite Emperor, will be protecting you all in the Absolute Beginning region. Thank you, Meteorite Emperor. Luo Feng, Rongjun and the rest of the 8 bowed. Ha! Meteorite Emperor laughed loudly. The scales on his face formed creases, making one's heart tremble. Let me first tell you, the 4 secret regions are in different places. They might not even be in the same universe country. Luo Feng, Rongjun and the rest were shocked. A universe country's territory was extremely vast. The primal region is the closest to the headquarters. It's in the same universe country as the headquarters. Next is the absolute beginning region, followed by the sky and land region. And the last phase region is the furthest from the headquarters. Meteorite Emperor's voice was like metal clashing. The absolute beginning region you are heading to is about 120 million light-years away from the headquarters. 120 million light-years. Luo Feng, Rong Jun, Qian Shui and the rest were all shocked. That was a shocking distance. Light had to travel 120 million years. Right now the ship has already accelerated to 50 times light speed. It'll take about 3 months to reach the absolute beginning region in the dark universe. Meteorite Emperor smiled. Let me first introduce you to the absolute beginning region, to give you some understanding. Luo Feng and the rest listened carefully. The absolute beginning secret realm is actually a type of universe secret realm. It's just that it's named Absolute Beginning. Meteorite Emperor exclaimed. Our primal universe is the most ancient and the largest and most unbelievable universe. It has nurtured all sorts of life forms, trillions of races and countless warriors. During the evolution of the primal universe, the majority of the regions become stars, planets, etc. Galaxies are the most common in the universe. However, due to some special reasons, during the evolution of the primal universe, there are also special regions that don't conform to the norm. Meteorite Emperor exclaimed. These special regions will completely challenge your imagination. The life forms within these special regions, the strange creatures and treasures will also challenge your imagination. Luo Feng and the rest's eyes gleamed. These special regions are known as the universe secret regions. Every universe secret realm is different. The meteorite monarch sighed. Different secret realms of the universe can produce many incomprehensible treasures and even some terrifying disasters. The danger levels of the secret regions are different. The safest ones, sector lords, don't even die in them. Instead, they fight for treasures and kill each other. The most dangerous secret regions, it's said that even universe country leaders have no hope of surviving. Meteorite Emperor looked at the shocked Luo Feng and the rest and smiled. Why very shocked? Luo Feng and the rest were completely stunned. My God! Universe country leaders, those were powerful beings that had established their own universe countries for trillions of years. Entering the most dangerous secret regions, their chances of survival were extremely slim. A newly discovered secret region, no one can even imagine what's inside. Meteorite Emperor exclaimed. Maybe it'll be a disaster, or maybe it'll be an unprecedented opportunity. There are big and small secret regions. The big ones are comparable to a universe country. Meteorite Emperor emphasized. The small ones too are comparable to a galaxy. Silence. Luo Feng and the rest held their breath. Such a huge secret region? Comparable to a universe country? And the primal region, absolute beginning region, sky and land region and last phase region that our virtual universe company controls are all developed and modified, they're no longer dangerous regions. The meteorite monarch laughed. Because the universe secret regions all contain incomparably dense universe source energy, they are very suitable for cultivation. Universe energy? Luo Feng's heart skipped a beat. The universe energy condenses into a crystal, that's the universe crystal. Sector lords, the reason why they could create a world, was because they could condense large amounts of universe energy. The absolute beginning region you're going to is comparable to a star field. Meteorite Emperor said. Living and training in the absolute beginning region, the most useful thing is the points. Within the company, the points are more effective than money. Meteorite Emperor's words indeed made Luo Feng and the other 7 thirsty for the legendary universe secret regions. However, it was obvious that those undeveloped secret regions, even the safest ones, had to be sector lords to enter. Unless it was the absolute beginning region that had already been excavated and modified. Time passed. Days passed, and in the blink of an eye, 26 days had passed. I'm about to reach the absolute beginning region. I've been in Primal Chaos City for 30 years, and I've passed 5 levels of the Heavenly Bridge. The points are 10 times the reward. That means my total points have reached 30360. Luo Feng calculated within his resting room. Luckily I've earned more points in Primal Chaos City, otherwise it'll be hard to earn more later on. If it wasn't for the 10 times reward, the reward for passing the first 5 levels was only 3,100 points. Because of the 10 times reward, it reached 31,000 points. Right now, he had already left Primal Chaos City. If he passed the Heavenly Bridge again, he wouldn't get the 10 times reward anymore. Come out. Meteorite Emperor's voice resounded throughout the ship. We've reached the absolute beginning region. We'll immediately begin universe travel. Shua. Luo Feng stood up, his eyes filled with excitement. They've reached the absolute beginning region. Yesterday, Tomato pulled for vote. His votes had increased by so much, and he was very close to the first position. Tomato was very excited and touched. Originally, when a new chapter ended and a new one began, Tomato would stop for a day to organize the next chapter's plot. However, today, Tomato was too embarrassed to stop, but he had to organize the plot, hence today, he updated, and only updated one chapter. This gave Tomato some time to organize the plot. However, the Brothers of the Red Alliance were simply too touching. Even though it was one chapter today, tomorrow Tomato will work hard to write another 4 chapters to repay everyone. Tomorrow 4 chapters. Tomato would do what he said. At the same time, he hoped that everyone had votes to support him, because the competition was too intense. Tomato needed everyone's support. Chapter 487. Within the ship's control room, Luo Feng and the 8 absolute beginning members, along with Meteorite Emperor and the group of Undyings gathered together. We're about to begin universe travel. Meteorite Emperor laughed loudly, his voice almost causing the entire control room to tremble. Traveling to the absolute beginning region is slightly different from traveling to a normal starfield. Luo Feng and the others were curious. You'll know in a while. As soon as the Meteorite King's voice fell, a cold voice reverberated in the entire control room, commencing universe travel. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 3, 2, 1. Suddenly, the entire spaceship shook slightly. After a while, the spaceship returned to normal. Travel complete. External scenery is completely simulated. Meteorite Emperor shouted. Immediately the surrounding scenery changed, allowing Luo Feng and the others to see the outside world. My God! Ah! Luo Feng and the others, including the Manka Prince Wukka, stared wide-eyed in shock at the outside world. How is it? Meteorite Emperor smiled. It's unbelievable. Luo Feng looked outside. It was covered in a faint mist. In the distance they could see rainbow clouds and occasionally large meteorites. It's actually, how can this be? Luo Feng and the others were all shocked, as universe travel usually directly entered the space of the actual universe. There was nothing in space, hence this sudden travel was extremely safe. And right now Meteorite Emperor's ship actually directly entered the inner region. It was simply too risky. Not right. Wukka shouted. This is the inner region of the absolute beginning region. Meteorite Emperor smiled, the scales on his face creased. Right, this is already the core region of the absolute beginning region. Then what do we do if we want to leave the absolute beginning region? Wukka pointed outside. Look, the meteorites outside, dust clouds can be seen everywhere. There's not enough distance for the ship to accelerate. To do universe travel, we have to accelerate the ship to light speed. That's the only way to do it. Luo Feng nodded, right? Directly entering the inner region of the absolute beginning region was easy, but what about leaving? You're right. Meteorite King nodded with a smile. The largest diameter of the absolute beginning secret realm is about 5 million light-years, which is the size of a star field. In space, one can easily accelerate to light speed. However, a universe secret region is different. There are some special flame flows, cold flows, astral winds, etc. There are also many dust particles. This causes the resistance of a universe ship to be huge. It is almost impossible to accelerate to light speed. Meteorite Emperor said. To travel through the universe, the conditions were very harsh. He had to accelerate to the speed of light. In order to accelerate to the speed of light, first of all, there must be very little resistance. Secondly, there must be a very long acceleration distance. Just like how an airplane needed a runway to accelerate, the space needed for a spacecraft to accelerate to the speed of light was tens of millions of times more than an airplane runway. This was easy to achieve in the near vacuum of the universe. However, in a universe secret region, it was almost impossible. Yes, within a universe secret region, it's normally impossible to travel through the universe. Meteorite King nodded. However, the absolute beginning secret region is different. The absolute beginning secret region has been excavated and modified. In the absolute beginning region, there are many regions that have been swept by the absolute warriors, clearing out large areas for universe ships to speed up. Luo Feng, Rong Jun, Qian Shui, Wuka, Ai Chen, and the others were shocked. To clear out a region that could allow a universe ship to accelerate to light speed, what a huge region that was. There's no choice. The absolute beginning mystic realm was too big. If we don't do this, we'll slowly fly in from the outer region. With its largest diameter of 5 million light-years, light would have to fly for 5 million years. If we don't directly travel within, it's impossible. Meteorite Emperor smiled. When we get back, each of you will receive a star map, a part of the absolute beginning region. Through it, you'll know how to enter and exit the absolute beginning region. The universe ship flew within the absolute beginning region. I need to send the 8 of you to your respective residences. Meteorite Emperor smiled from within the control room. I'll need about 3 days to fly to all of your residences. Luo Feng and the rest remained silent. 8 people residences, this universe ship needed 3 days to fly? Rong Jun, we've arrived at your residence. Meteorite King shouted. At the same time, the external simulation allowed everyone to clearly see that in the distant space that was filled with a thin layer of mist, there was a beautiful little continent floating. As they got closer, the continent got bigger and bigger. Finally, the universe ship directly landed on the continent. The cabin door opened. Let's all go out and take a look. Meteorite Emperor smiled and shouted. Luo Feng, Rong Jun and the others excitedly flew out of the cabin door. Flying out of the cabin door, they could feel the thick universe energies within the mist. Luo Feng and the others landed on the ground. Looking into the distance, they could see the endless space. The mist was thick, and occasionally they could see some cold air flowing past. A continent in space? That's awesome! How big is this continent? Luo Feng and the rest looked carefully. This floating continent was shockingly huge. At least Luo Feng couldn't estimate it with his eyes. Rumble! The Meteorite King landed on the ground and said with a smile, "This is the debris of the stars numbered 803899092, which has a diameter of about 5,800 kilometers. There is a large mansion in the center of this debris of the stars. Rong Jun, that will be your residence. Of course, this entire star fragment will belong to you from now on." Rong Jun surveyed his surroundings. The vegetation on this continent was extremely lush. Absolute beginning region, the universe energy is incredibly thick. Meteorite King pointed at the surrounding mist. Look, this ubiquitous mist is some extremely tiny particles formed by the materialization of the cosmic origin energy. With that, Meteorite King grasped at the void, and suddenly, a large area of mist in midair was rapidly compressed. It condensed into a large crystal. Universe crystal? Luo Feng, Ai Chen and Rong Jun couldn't help but shout. Right, universe crystal. Meteorite Emperor smiled. The endless mist here, if you casually gather it together, it can form universe crystals. As the universe energy is too thick training in the absolute beginning region, one can sense the ripples of the universe energy more clearly. It's more beneficial to training too. Who? In the distance, 10 silhouettes broke through space and arrived. Your Majesty! 10 universe warriors dressed in armor and boots landed neatly on the ground. Under the leadership of the Sector Lord, they all shouted respectfully. The rest of you board the ship, we'll head to Wooka's place next. Meteorite Emperor shouted. Rongjun, we'll see you later. Rongjun, we'll be leaving first. Luo Feng and the others waved and entered Meteorite Emperor's ship. The ship rose into the sky and departed. The members were all sent to their own places. Luo Feng was the 5th to be sent there. Star fragment number 803898081? Luo Feng muttered as he walked on the continent. Its diameter is about 6,200 kilometers. According to what the Meteorite Emperor said, these star fragments were all created by the absolute warriors of the Virtual Universe Company breaking some stars and creating many star fragment bases. What thick universe energy! Luo Feng waved his hand and felt the mist. He couldn't help but exclaim. If he wanted universe crystals, he could create them anytime. As long as he compressed the mist, it would become universe crystals. However, to Luo Feng and the other core members, even 1 trillion universe dollars was only one mixed element. And to compress it into 1 trillion universe dollars, my God, how many years would that take? Hence it wasn't worth it. Of course, if any normal planet's inhabitants saw this, they would all go crazy. Universe dollars, to the normal people of the universe, was still a very expensive currency. Luo Feng looked up. 10 silhouettes flew over from the distance. The leader was a bald old man. It was the leader of Luo Feng's guard team, Ao Duali Kushan Lai Su. Your Majesty. The 10 bowed respectfully. Luo Feng smiled. Ao Duo, we've finally met in reality. I've been looking forward to this day too. The bald old man smiled too. Your Majesty, I'll lead the way. After a while, under the escort of his guards, Luo Feng arrived at an ancient villa. This villa had a length and width of 300 kilometers. There were many structures within. Such a large structure to the Virtual Universe Company, it was simply too easy. Your Majesty. Ao Duo smiled. Let me introduce you. Who? Following which, Ao Duo rose into the air. Luo Feng followed. The two of them flew about 10,000 m above the ground. From 10,000 m above, I can barely see the edge of the star fragment. Luo Feng looked down. Ao Duo, however, pointed ahead. Your Majesty, look over there. Luo Feng looked and was shocked. Incomparably far away there was a dark blue planet. Even the endless mist couldn't block its light. That's an extremely large planet. It has a diameter of 1.28 million kilometers, and the strange thing is that it's extremely cold. Our debris of the stars are constantly flying around this huge ice planet. There are more than 3,000 pieces of the debris of the stars orbiting this huge ice planet, and almost all of them are inhabited by the core members of the absolute beginning mystic realm. Luo Feng was filled with disbelief. Its diameter was 1.28 million kilometers. That was close to the solar system's diameter. However, it was actually an extremely cold planet, and it could even glow? Peculiar. The Virtual Universe Company has long ordered that before reaching the undying level, no one is allowed to enter that ice planet. Sector lords that enter almost certainly die. Ao Duo exclaimed. An ice planet that can glow? And it can even kill sector lords. It's simply stronger than a star. Universe secret regions are indeed peculiar. Many of them don't conform to common sense. Luo Feng shook his head. Actually, that thick mist that could easily condense into universe crystals, permeating an entire star field, such a place, It wouldn't be strange for it to produce anything strange. This. Luo Feng gazed below. A large star fragment floated amidst the mist. This will be my training ground from now on. Let's go. So, Luo Feng and Ao Duo immediately rushed downward. P.S. Chapter 1 has arrived. Hard work, 4 chapters, 4 chapters. Chapter 488. Star fragment number 803898081, with a diameter of 6,200 kilometers, close to a quarter of Earth's land area. However, this was just a place for an absolute beginning member to live. Within the villa, there were a total of 111 guards. 1 general, sector lord, 10 captains, domain lord, 100 universe warriors, universe level. These formed His Majesty Luo Feng's guard team. And the servants were much more, a total of 1,800 men and women. After all, the entire star fragment was simply too huge. Even with the help of technology, maintaining it was a huge amount of work. 111 guards, 1,800 servants, and a majesty, these were the residents of this star continent. From today onwards, without my orders, I don't wish for anyone to enter. Luo Feng surveyed the surroundings of a quiet little building, ordering. Yes, Your Majesty. The bald old man Ao Duo bowed. Luo Feng looked at the bald old man. Ao Duo, from what I know, the core members can soak in the life pool to evolve their bodies to the highest level, right? Life pool? The bald old man was slightly stunned. Luo Feng was curious. This Ao Duo was a core member of the last phase region too. He should know about it. What life pool? Ao Duo asked curiously. After breaking through to Universe Level 1, soaking in the life pool will allow one to reach Universe Level 9, right? Luo Feng asked. Your Majesty, you mean soaking in the nutrition cabin? Ao Duo smiled. What life pool? Yes, the core members of the Virtual Universe Company have this privilege. As long as they break through to Universe Level 1, Domain Lord Level 1 or Sector Lord Level 1, they can immediately soak in the nutrition cabin. There are many precious materials in the nutrition cabin, allowing the trainers to complete their accumulations. Luo Feng nodded. Right. The life pool was what Wuka called it. The younger generation of the Manka planet went to soak in the life pool. The Virtual Universe Company didn't necessarily require one to soak in the life pool. Soak in the nutrition cabin, wasn't it the same? Right, soak in the nutrition cabin. Luo Feng asked, how do I apply? Your Majesty hasn't entered the Virtual Universe Network yet. Ao Duo smiled. Every batch of geniuses from the company have to go through the foundation building process in Primal Chaos City. After exiting Primal Chaos City, the privileges will change. Many things that can't be done before can be done. Your Majesty will know once you go online. Ah. Luo Feng nodded, following which his consciousness connected to the Virtual Universe Network. Virtual Universe, Absolute Beginning Region Villa 1136. In the study, Luo Feng sat on the chair and opened his laptop. When he looked at the screen, he found that there was an extra file, Background Management. HM? Luo Feng gently tapped. The file opened automatically and a page appeared. There were 3 options on the page: life, learning, and cultivation. Life. Luo Feng gently opened it. Immediately large amounts of options appeared. There were star maps, food, nutrition cabin, residence, ship. There were many options. Luo Feng opened them and looked at them. They were all related to the problems and solutions of living in the absolute beginning region, of which the nutrition cabin was the choice to soak in the nutrition cabin to reach the highest level of one's level. Apply. Luo Feng lightly clicked. Beat. A small screen appeared. On the screen was a beautiful jade-haired girl wearing a white robe. She smiled. Hello, Your Majesty Luo Feng. May I ask if you're requesting to use the nutrition cabin? From Universe Level 1 to Level 9? Yes. Luo Feng nodded. Your Majesty Luo Feng, we will send the nutrition cabin to your place within a day, smiled the jade-haired lady. Thanks. Luo Feng smiled. The call ended. That's simple, Luo Feng muttered. And the food, residence, etc. are all free. Only the ships, the good ones, require money. However, the A and D grade ships are all free. Yes, normally the less expensive items were all free. After closing the Life tab, Luo Feng opened the Study tab. The study window was split into theory and practice. The theory was mainly for the public classes in the absolute beginning region. Usually undyings would come to teach, and occasionally even universe country leaders would come to teach. These classes either spoke about the 8 great quintessence laws of metal, wood, water, fire, earth, wind, lightning, and light, or the 2 most difficult quintessence laws of space and time. There were also courses that talked about the fusion of space and metal, and the fusion of space and wood. There were also some technique classes. There were also consciousness training classes. There were all sorts of classes, and the ones teaching were at least undyings, and occasionally universe country leaders. These public classes were all public classes that belonged to the Absolute Beginning Zone. Only members of the Absolute Beginning Zone could attend the classes. There's actually no coercion at all. Luo Feng couldn't help but reveal a smile. This is good. If you want to attend, then go. If you don't, you can train by yourself. That's very humane. However, just looking at the names of the classes and the Absolute Warriors teaching, it was obvious how rich Luo Feng and his group's resources were. Normal warriors wanting to be taught by an undying was simply a dream. Just like Luo Feng's servant by Kaluo, he only had Nulan Shan as his teacher. Nulan Shan, a universe level 9, just because he was a battle-axe warrior, he had attracted large amounts of people to take him as a teacher. One could imagine how valuable a teacher was in the universe, and Luo Feng and his group had a large group of undyings teaching them, and these undyings all talked about what they were good at, with even universe country leaders occasionally teaching. How extravagant was that? The study window is split into theory and practice? Luo Feng thought. Theory is taught by many strong warriors. What about practice? He gently opened it. Hua. The practice window was split into the Heavenly Bridge, Fantasy Ocean, and Undying Altar. The page even had introductions to the 3. Heavenly Bridge. Virtual Universe Company core members have the right to attempt the Heavenly Bridge. It tests one's comprehension of the universe origin laws. The deeper one's comprehension, the higher the levels one can attempt. The higher the levels, the more points one gets. Fantasy Ocean. Virtual Universe Company core members have the right to attempt the Fantasy Ocean. It tests one's consciousness strength and willpower. Consciousness and willpower, in training, breaking through bottlenecks, battles, etc., they are extremely important. Attempting the Fantasy Ocean, from the outermost layer and deeper, the deeper one goes, the more points one gets. Undying Altar. Undying Altar, it tests one's strength exertion, the same body, different warriors can unleash different amounts of strength. Pure brute force is 1 unit. Some powerful warriors can unleash 10 units, 20 units. The true limit of one's strength exertion is 100 units. This is the mark of perfect control of one's body. Perfect control of one's strength is the prerequisite to breaking through to Undying. Undying Altar, it tests one's strength exertion. The stronger one's strength exertion, the more points one gets. Heavenly Bridge? Fantasy Ocean? Undying Altar? Luo Feng held his breath. I didn't expect that other than the Heavenly Bridge, there's still Fantasy Ocean and Undying Altar? Damn! The Virtual Universe Company is indeed the Virtual Universe Company. It's all been standardized. The little demon Babata on Luo Feng's shoulder stared wide-eyed. They actually let a large group of undyings and even universe country leaders teach them? Creating the Heavenly Bridge is fine, but there's still Fantasy Ocean and Undying Altar? How did they do it? Body, consciousness strength, willpower, origin law comprehension, these are the main points to becoming undying. Babata shouted, especially the Undying Altar. This altar can actually test strength? So what if it tests strength? Luo Feng smiled. Back on Earth, couldn't we already test strength exertion? It's not the same. At your level of cultivation, your punches will naturally contain a trace of the laws. Babata explained. For example, your brute force is 1 unit, in reality you can unleash 20 units. However, with the origin law, it causes your attack to reach 100 unit. The measuring device tests 100 units, however this isn't your true strength, do you understand? Luo Feng realized. That's right. Infusing the origin law causes one's attack to greatly increase. It's no longer just pure physical strength. Click on the undying altar. Babata shouted. Luo Feng gently clicked. Undying altar. A place specially created by the virtual universe, isolating the universe origin laws, origin energy and spirit energy from the body, it can accurately test one's strength exertion. Hee, I've never heard of such a place, normal warriors wouldn't even know about it. Babata exclaimed and shook his head. The best thing is, the Heavenly Bridge, Fantasy Ocean and Undying Altar, they can all be used to earn points. Luo Feng smiled. Back in the management system, after looking at life and study, Luo Feng was elated. He clicked on the third column, Training. Clicking on it led to a page, on it was a paragraph of words. In my virtual universe company, points are more effective than money. And to earn points, other than passing the Heavenly Bridge, Fantasy Ocean and Undying Altar, is to choose training missions. In a safe environment, one won't be able to train a true warrior. Only by going through bloody battles time and time again, can one truly grow stronger. The cultivation mission was a form of training in the real world. According to the degree of danger, the cultivation missions were divided into 5 levels. Safety level, normal level, difficult level, dangerous level, and impossible level. Safe level, death rate 0. Normal level, death rate 10%. Hard level, death rate 20%. Dangerous level, death rate 50%. Impossible level, death rate 90%. Depending on the danger level, every mission will give different points. All core members, please do your best. Don't let yourself get too comfortable, that way you'll be surpassed by others. However, don't blindly choose the most dangerous. Without sufficient preparation, you'll only push yourself to your death. Whether it's studying or training, everything is up to the core members to choose. Make your own choices, and bear the consequences yourself. The path to undying is filled with danger. I bless you all, to be able to walk this path, and become an undying being. After looking at the last training column, Luo Feng was silent for a while. Chapter 2 has arrived. Tomato continued to work hard on writing. I'll leave the monthly votes to everyone. The gap is too big, Sweat. Chapter 489. There's a saying on Earth, the flowers in the greenhouse may look beautiful, but they can't withstand the wind and rain. Luo Feng said softly, delicate and weak. That's right. The little demon exclaimed, being tempered into steel, your Earth's normal humans have to get vaccinated to be able to defend against some infectious diseases. It's the same logic. However, Luo Feng, just like how the Earthlings use vaccines, don't go too hard at the start, start with the lower difficulty and gradually increase the difficulty. No rush, I don't wish to take on any missions for now. Luo Feng said, my study of Primal Chaos City, I still need to properly absorb it. And my body has to soak in the nutrition cabin. The demon Babata smiled and nodded. Back when he chose Luo Feng to be the successor of the UNMO planet, he didn't expect Luo Feng to have such a day. Before, he was worried that his identity as the successor of the UNMO planet would be exposed, causing the sector lords and others to covet him. However, now with his identity, even a normal undying wouldn't dare mess with him. Even the Black Dragon Mountain Star Field Emperor had to be polite. When Luo Feng enters the primal region, the leader of the guards would be an undying. When that time comes, even the god leader of the sacred land of the Black Dragon Mountain Empire would have to be extremely polite to Luo Feng. Background management. Luo Feng gently tapped and closed the background management file. Life, study, training, the virtual universe company provided the best conditions. Would he die along the way? Would he be stuck at the pinnacle of Sector Lord and reach his limit? Or become an undying? It all depended on his hard work. Right now I have 30,360 points. Luo Feng opened the treasure trove folder, looking at the materials, treasures, techniques, weapons, many categories. His heart suddenly moved. Right. This treasure trove had all sorts of wonders, and the most expensive F-grade ship he owned, the UNMO planet ship, couldn't be used at all. Repairing it was extremely difficult. At least the Black Dragon Mountain star field didn't have such a condition. The Ganwu Universe country may have the ability to repair the UNMO planet ship by piecing it together. However, this treasure trove definitely had what he wanted. Babata, take a look. Do you think you can gather enough items to repair the UNMO planet ship? Luo Feng said. Yes. The demon Babata was indeed an AI, immediately gathering the information. Luo Feng couldn't help but be happy. UNMO planet ship was a ship that even Undyings couldn't break open. When Undyings fought, they only left fist marks on the ship. And the reason why his teacher, the master of the UNMO planet, Hu Yenbo, had died was because his opponent had used a soul attack. With this spaceship, he would be truly formidable. Soul attack? His other two bodies hid in his inner world, only using the Masha clan clone. The Masha race did not have a soul, so they were not afraid of soul attacks. Important materials can be exchanged through the treasury, Babata said. Also, you can use the back office management's life column to request for the virtual universe company's technicians to repair it. You provide the required materials and those technicians can repair it for free. How many points? Luo Feng asked. About 560,000 points, Babata said. 560,000? Luo Feng stared. Not much, Babata said. If you buy it with money in the outside world, you will need about 80,000 mixed elements. Luo Feng was stunned. The purchasing power of points was really exaggerated. Babata, if I were to build a UNMO planet ship, how much would it cost? Luo Feng asked. About 3.6 million mixed elements. Babata said. Damn. Luo Feng couldn't help but curse softly. Even if you sell the entire Black Dragon Mountain starfield, it wouldn't be worth that much. Selling them one by one, it's not expensive. And selling the entire Black Dragon Mountain starfield, the price is much higher. I estimate it to be around 300,000 to 1 million mixed elements. It depends on the market, the prices vary. Babata said. The Black Dragon Mountain starfield, selling the entire starfield, couldn't even compare to one UNMO planet ship. That's normal. Babata said with disdain. The Black Dragon Mountain starfield is the sacred land Black Dragon Mountain's Undying's personal property. And that Undying, his strength was weaker than your teacher. Your teacher paid an extremely high price to build the UNMO planet ship back then. It's normal for it to be more expensive than a starfield. And it's extremely sturdy, able to withstand material attack. And your teacher specialized in the soul aspect. Hence relying on this ship is extremely safe. He still died in the end. Luo Feng shook his head. The opponent was an Emperor-level Undying, also specialized in the soul aspect. Babata said, if he specialized in the fighter aspect, he wouldn't have been able to kill your teacher. The Black Dragon Mountain starfield is just a territory. However, this UNMO planet ship is a life-saving ship. Who's more important? One look and you'll know. Babata said. Whether it was 560,000 points or 80,000 mixed element. Both were things Luo Feng had to look up to, at least his points were far from enough. Deep within the universe, the absolute beginning region core. Revolving around the huge ice planet were many star fragments. Star fragment number 80389081. A universe ship landed on this continent. Your Majesty Luo Feng, this nutrition cabin has a lot of precious nutrition liquid. You only need 1/3 of it to raise a universe level 1 to level 9. The white-robed jade-haired man said respectfully, just in case we prepared more. Luo Feng nodded satisfactorily. This nutrition cabin was very similar to the one he bought before, however the nutrients were definitely of a higher quality, and it couldn't be bought outside, even if there was. Luo Feng couldn't afford it. Hua! The nutrition cabin's cover automatically opened. Within was about 1/5 of the cabin's volume. A formless cold energy made Luo Feng crease his eyebrows. He extended his hand towards the liquid and touched it. Chi! The coldness shocked Luo Feng. It was at least -80 to 90 degrees. At the same time, when he touched the liquid with his fingers, the cells in his fingers seemed to be cheering excitedly. Such an icy cold nutrient liquid? However, the effects are shocking. Luo Feng thought, after which he took off all his clothes and walked into the cabin to lie down. The cold light purple nutrient fluid enveloped his entire body. The strange substance began to flow through Luo Feng's skin into his body, into his muscles, bones, skin, organs. His entire body, from inside to outside, was changing at a shocking rate. Normal people from universe level 1 to 9 would require hundreds or thousands of years. However, with the huge price paid by the virtual universe company, they were able to complete it within a few short months. As for the coldness of the nutrient liquid, a universe level warrior, this bit of temperature had no effect at all. Hua! The cover closed once again. Virtual universe, absolute beginning region Villa 1136. It's really different. Not only is it nourishing my entire body, even my spirit energy is constantly getting stronger. Unbelievable. Luo Feng sat before his desk and opened his laptop screen, exclaiming, to be able to raise my body and soul from level 1 to level 9, hehe, it's really impressive. On the screen, Luo Feng looked at the classes. I won't listen to the other classes, space and gold origin laws. I'll listen to more about these two. Luo Feng didn't even want to study the other aspects. A person's energy was limited, and his two bodies were good at these two aspects. There was no need to waste time studying things he wasn't good at. There's a class tomorrow night? There's a class on gold origin laws? It's an Emperor-level Undying's class. I'll have to go listen. Luo Feng immediately leapt out from the balcony of his study, dodging in mid-air, arriving at his own training grounds not far away, and began his training. The nutrition cabin required over 3 months. During this time, Luo Feng was either in the training grounds studying the things he learned in Primal Chaos City, or he was attending classes. However, truthfully, even though the other absolute beginning members paid attention to some of the classes, Luo Feng realized one thing after listening to them. The effects of the classes weren't even as good as his own teacher Tru Yan's. After being by Tru Yan's side for 20 years, there were occasionally some classes that made Luo Feng's eyes gleam. However, most of the effects were average. No choice. The public class was for all members of the absolute beginning area to learn. And when Tru Yan taught Luo Feng, it was individual teaching, according to Luo Feng's situation, and Tru Yan was close to a universe country leader being. The effects were naturally better than normal classes. My improvement speed is obviously much slower than in Primal Chaos City. Luo Feng was in his own villa, sitting in a chair, holding a glass of wine, frowning, and those classes obviously aren't as good as what my teacher taught me. What do I do? Not only Luo Feng. Everyone else realized this problem. The training speed now was far from what it was in Primal Chaos City. Primal Chaos City had the universe origin laws working, allowing people to study and improve quickly. Luo Feng, your teacher has a call request. Babata shouted from his shoulder. Teacher? Luo Feng's eyes gleamed, standing up. He was humble and courteous. Answer. A screen appeared before him. On it appeared a ferocious Tru Yan. That golden fur made him seem even more domineering. The Tru Yan on the screen laughed loudly. My good disciple, how are you feeling after leaving Primal Chaos City? My study speed is slow. Luo Feng shook his head. Haha, Tru Yen laughed even more happily. That's normal. Primal Chaos City has the 3 treasures. My study speed is 10 times faster than outside. Everyone who leaves Primal Chaos City will face such a problem, however. My teacher has a solution. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. Teacher, please speak. If I can let you study the 9 Universe Tablet frequently, I think your improvement speed will be even faster than in Primal Chaos City. Tru Yen said. Of course. Luo Feng said, after which he shook his head helplessly. It's a pity I only get one chance to study the 9 Universe Tablet, and each time it's only for 7 days. However, even so, the rewards are still very high every time. If I can study it frequently, even if I'm not in Primal Chaos City, my improvement will still be shocking. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. Does teacher have a way for me to study the tablet? No, the 52 Primal Chaos Tablets, only Primal Chaos City has them. Tru Yen said. Then teacher means. Luo Feng was curious. In the Virtual Universe Company's treasure trove, under the Techniques category, there's a book called Time-Space Scribbles. Tru Yen said. This book was written by the creator of the 9 Universe Tablet. It's one of the most expensive books. Time-Space Scribbles? Luo Feng stared. He had flipped through the treasure trove before. At the end of the Techniques category, there were some terrifyingly expensive techniques. Time-Space Scribbles, one set required a total of 100 billion points. A price that made Luo Feng dumbstruck. He couldn't even be bothered to look at those terrifyingly expensive books. 100 billion points. Haha, don't get too excited. This time Space Scribbles, even your teacher can't afford it. Tru Yen laughed. P.S. Chapter 3 has ended, continue to Chapter 4. Chapter 490. Passing the first level of the Heavenly Bridge was 100 points, the second 200, the third 400, so on and so forth. Passing the 21st level to become a Universe Country Leader would earn a little more than 100 million points. Not mentioning Tru Yen who couldn't afford it, even the Universe Country Leaders who wanted to buy it would find it hard to do so. Because 100 billion points was an incomparably huge number, enough to make even the Universe Country Leaders' hearts tremble. Much less a puny Luo Feng. He could only look up and stare dumbstruck. Haha, shocked. Tru Yen laughed on the screen. Teacher, what do you think this time Space Scribbles means? I can't even afford it. Luo Feng muttered. Even if this book was written by the creator of the 9 Universe Tablet, I can't afford it. Reaching the 21st level of the Heavenly Bridge, one could become a Universe Country Leader. That great being, the 9 Universe Tablet he carved could allow one to train all the way to the 27th level. This time Space Scribbles should be sold for such a high price. That being was definitely one of the pinnacle of humanity in the universe, the kind of powerful being that stood in the ruling position. If we say the 9 Universe Tablet is deep and profound, able to guide one to automatically comprehend many techniques. Tru Yen said, then the Time-Space Scribbles itself has tens of thousands of techniques recorded. Tens of thousands of techniques? Luo Feng stared. Tru Yen nodded. Yes, back then the being that created the 9 Universe Tablet transformed his path into 9 pictures. The 9 diagrams can naturally lead people to enlightenment. At the same time, when that great being created the 9 diagrams, he thought hard for a long time and recorded all the secret techniques that he had obtained when he was enlightened. They corresponded to the 9 diagrams, and there were a total of 10,829 secret techniques. 10829 techniques? Luo Feng blinked. A true great being, according to the 9 pictures, was able to create so many techniques. These techniques are very messy. Tru Yen said, the reason why it's called scribbles is because they're all random records, either some pictures or some secrets. Anyway, it's very messy. Later generations looking at the time-space scribbles, they can't even find the 10,829 technique. Since you can't find them all, how do you know there are 10,829 techniques? Luo Feng was suspicious. It was written on the first page by the creator himself. Tru Yen smiled. Although I can't find all of them, I can find over 10,000 mystic arts. This set of space-time essays is divided into 9 books. 9. Luo Feng's heart moved. The Primal Chaos Tablet too had 9 pictures. These essays were originally written according to the 9 diagrams. The first diagram corresponds to the first book, the second diagram corresponds to the second book, and the 9th diagram corresponds to the 9th book. Tru Yen smiled. Hearing his teacher's words, Luo Feng's heart moved. He pointed and a screen formed beside him, swiftly opening the treasure trove and techniques section. Very quickly, he found the ridiculously expensive time-space scribbles. The author's name was kept secret. Luo Feng opened it and looked carefully. Spacetime Essays, Volume 1, 1,000 points first 2 volumes of Spacetime Essays, 10,000 points first 3 volumes of Spacetime Essays, 100,000 points first 7 volumes of Spacetime Essays, 1 billion points first 8 books of Spacetime Essays, 10 billion points Spacetime Essays, 100 billion points, and this Spacetime Essays didn't even come with discounts. It's exactly as I thought. Luo Feng laughed loudly. These expensive books are really sold separately. Ah, it's exactly as you thought? Tru Yen smiled on the screen. Luo Feng smiled. Back on Earth, when he was still a normal fighter, he bought the 9-stage Thunder Blade and sold them separately. However, the price is still expensive. Luo Feng frowned. It is. Tru Yen nodded. The moment you choose to buy the Spacetime Essays, then in the future, you'll have to work hard to earn points to buy it. The first 7 books corresponded to the first 7 pictures of the 9 Universe tablet. Comprehending them would make one a Universe country leader. However, passing the 21st level of the Heavenly Bridge would only give a little over 100 million points. And just the first 7 books alone required 1 billion points. Normally, those who bought the first 7 books weren't Universe country leaders yet. Luo Feng, this is definitely an extremely expensive book. You bought the Floating Blood for only 800 points, which corresponds to the first 3 pictures. It however requires 100,000 points for the first 3 pictures. The further you go, the more ridiculous it gets. However, it is indeed the best technique for training the 9 Universe tablet. It contains large amounts of techniques within. Studying this technique, the effects should be comparable to 10% of studying the 9 Universe tablet. Tru Yen smiled as he looked at Luo Feng. Luo Feng, my good disciple, whether you buy it or not, it's up to you. Buy, of course I'll buy it. Luo Feng didn't hesitate at all. Tru Yan's golden eyebrows creased. Anyway, I have points now. Luo Feng smiled. As long as I can buy it now, as for whether I can afford it in the future, that's a problem for the future. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. Teacher, since you said its effects are comparable to 10% of studying the 9 Universe tablet, I have to buy it no matter how many points I spend. Points are useless. The comprehension of the origin laws is what I truly rely on to become a strong warrior. After saying that, Luo Feng didn't hesitate and immediately bought the first 2 books. Trade successful. After deducting 10,000 points, you have 20,360 points remaining. Please wait, someone will immediately send the manuals over. A series of notifications appeared on the screen. Teacher, I've already bought it. Luo Feng said to Tru Yen on another screen. Tru Yen laughed. With this spacetime scribbles, your speed of comprehending the 9 Universe Primal Chaos tablet will be much faster. If you have any doubts, bear with it for 3 months. If you still haven't figured them out, come ask me again. Yes. Luo Feng nodded. Also, let me remind you of one more thing. Tru Yen smiled. There's no need to waste time staying in Yuxiang Mountain to study. Studying the origin laws is very important. However, you can totally take on the training missions. Go out and fight while training in reality, study the origin laws. You won't waste any time and your efficiency will be much higher. Luo Feng thought about it and nodded. Understood, teacher. Asterisk, 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 Primal Chaos City. Within that ancient mansion, Tru Yen smiled and nodded. Luo Feng, this punk, he sure is straightforward. And Luo Feng quickly received 2 sets of books. The books were stored in a silver briefcase. Within the study, Luo Feng opened the briefcase and was shocked. 2 books? Time-space scribbles, first and second book. One had to know. The floating blood he bought before had a total of 110 books, but it was close to filling up the entire briefcase. However, these 2 books alone took up more than half of the briefcase. 2 books, or more accurately, they were made of metal, even the pages were golden. The first book was 50 centimeters long, 40 centimeters wide, 40 centimeters tall. The second book was 50 centimeters long, 40 centimeters wide, 30 centimeters tall. Damn, how are these 2 books? They're even bigger than a laptop bag, almost a backpack. Luo Feng was speechless. No wonder these 2 books took up more than half of the briefcase. He looked down at the cover. On it were 4 simple universe language words. Time-space scribbles. Simple words, yet it seemed to encompass the universe and space. As Luo Feng looked, he could feel his consciousness being attracted to these words. It was as though he could see stars exploding, planets changing, etc. After a while, Luo Feng awoke. Unbelievable. Luo Feng stared wide-eyed. These are just 2 books from the virtual universe system. They're not even the originals, yet they can still affect my consciousness. The being who wrote the time-space scribbles is too terrifying. Luo Feng flipped open the metal pages. This first book was 40 centimeters thick, however it had a few thousand pages. Even though it was made of metal, it was still extremely thin and flexible. Time-space scribbles has a total of 9 books. Just write it casually, it contains a total of 10,829 techniques. If you're able to find all 10,829 techniques from these 9 books, at least you'll be able to become a universe country leader, haha. The first page was simple, but strangely, Luo Feng's ears seemed to resound with a confident and unrestrained voice. Illusion. Luo Feng was curious, flipping to the second page. On the second page there were a few simple strokes. However, these strokes, in Luo Feng's eyes, seemed to form a simple yet powerful sword technique. Handsome. Powerful. Luo Feng couldn't help but compliment the raindrop picture. With just 9 simple wonders, it actually created such a simple yet powerful blade technique. Luo Feng, who had already comprehended the first picture, raindrop picture, quickly sensed the author's intent from the seemingly random strokes and saw through the sword technique. And because he had comprehended the raindrop picture, he instantly learned the blade technique. Luo Feng flipped to the third page. On this page, there was only a simple fallen leaf. On it there were only a few strokes. However, in Luo Feng's eyes, he saw 9 spirit weapons forming one body in mid-air, descending from above, surrounding and killing the opponent. So direct, what a powerful attack technique. Directly using the 9 blade weapons to affect space, suppressing the opponent and killing him while he's weak. Luo Feng was completely shocked. It's much stronger than the 9-thread loop I created myself. Even when I use the totem pillar and rely on the Nanshin armament, I'm still slightly stronger than this. His own 9-thread loop, compared to the technique recorded by that great being, was obviously much weaker. Too amazing. Luo Feng flipped to the 4th page, his eyes gleaming. Page after page of the metal book was constantly flipped, and each page contained a secret offensive technique, all of which were based on the mysterious conception of the raindrop painting. The raindrop painting was simple, but that great existence had created one exquisite secret technique after another based on the raindrop painting. It could be close combat, it could be a controller's long-range battle, it could be an illusion technique, it could be a psychokinesis attack technique after technique. He casually flipped through them. As Luo Feng had comprehended the raindrop picture, looking at these techniques, he could almost instantly comprehend them. It's unbelievable. Too vicious. It's too powerful. Luo Feng hungrily flipped through page after page. He had never thought that so many techniques could be used like that. It was simply unimaginable. He couldn't even fathom how the great being thought of it. And many of the techniques were absolutely amazing, and the foundations of these techniques were all based on the raindrop picture. Techniques were methods to use the origin laws. That great being casually wrote down thousands of ways to use the raindrop picture. 3 days later. Worth. Luo Feng flipped through the last page of the first book. He couldn't help but shout excitedly. After flipping through the first book had 3,219 techniques. Luo Feng had mastered them all. Only 1,000 points. Even if I spent over 30,000 points to buy this page, it would be worth it. Luo Feng closed the first volume of the metallic book. He was indescribably excited. Techniques after techniques floated in his mind. Yes, that great being had opened an unprecedented window to Luo Feng. Not only did it give Luo Feng many new insights into the 9-universe tablet, it also gave him many new understandings on how to battle.